You will dance especially for me today. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Greetings for joining my in the last couple of weeks. I've been quite occupied in Nigeria and other places, so my apologies for that. As always, our conversation here is to share the information that we have and discuss the issues and sometimes the opinions of others may rub a lot of people up the wrong way. The spirit of the conversation is to get closer to the truth, not to offend any group, any religion, any gender, any. We are not here to offend people. We are here to learn and teach and have a conversation, maybe even entertain each other a little bit. That's all it is we are here for. So, and people should be willing to share information and discuss things frankly. This is not a kind of moderated channel in the sense that they censor or kind of curtail your freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is one of those things that should be cherished, and the channel upholds it. People should be free to speak their mind instead of self-censoring. You see, this is what happens in the traditional media. And sometimes people take this type of channels for granted. They are very, very important, and they are vital for the future. And I hope people that are viewing it take it seriously and share with others so that they can come and listen to actual people having conversations about events of the week. So I want to start with some of the, if you want to say, it's kind of breaking news of the events in Iran, America's conflict with Iran, or maybe Trump's conflict with Iran. So let's see what is going on there, and let's play this video. I think there has been some development in that situation in the Iran. So I'll play that video first. All right.
We've got some breaking news to get to right now out of the Middle East. Some new news from CENTCOM here. We've got Lucas Tomlinson, who is live in Tel Aviv for us. Lucas, what are you hearing?
Aisha, we've just learned from the U.S. military central command in charge of all U.S. forces in the Middle East that 2 American service members have been killed and 1 is still missing after an Iranian missile attack on a base in Jordan. Additionally, we've learned that 4 American service members were wounded. They were transferred to Jordanian hospitals and have since been discharged. This all coming last night after at least 2 intermediate range ballistic missiles fired from Iran hit a base in Jordan not long after U.S. Air Force personnel had arrived, part of President Trump's reinforcements, an F-16 squadron, as well as an F-35 squadron. Of course, U.S. Air Force personnel are deployed throughout the Middle East. We've been heavily focused on the 2 U.S. Navy aircraft carrier strike groups that are in the Arabian Sea. The Air Force isn't as public about where it deploys its forces, but Jordan is a major hub, along with bases here in Israel, also Qatar, UAE, and of course in Saudi Arabia. But Jordan has been a major hub. So once again, Aisha, 2 American service members have been killed, 1 is still missing, and 4 were wounded in an Iranian ballistic missile attack on a base in Jordan last evening. It is the first American casualties in months since those 6 U.S. Army personnel were killed in the early days of the war in the attack on Kuwait.
Yeah,
Aisha.
Terrible news this afternoon, Lucas. And we were anticipating, we'd heard some things about it and just wanted to make sure and confirmed it before we went on air with it, Lucas. So thank you for that report. As far as the 4 American service members that were injured and have now been medically evacuated, do you know anything more about how bad those injuries are and how they were injured?
It appears they were injured when these Iranian ballistic missiles hit their intended target at this base in Jordan. Let me read the statement from U.S. Central Command, Aisha. It says, on July 17th, 2 U.S. service members in Jordan were killed in action as U.S. Central Command and partner forces defended against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks. Additionally, 1 service member is currently missing in action. 4 American service members were medically evacuated to Jordanian hospitals. They have since been discharged. Other personnel who were evaluated for minor injuries have returned to duty. Out of respect for the families, CENTCOM will be withholding additional information, including the identities of the fallen, until 24 hours after the next of kin have been notified. So this is the...
Now that's the development. The 2 American soldiers died, 4 injured, and being evacuated with various levels of seriousness of injury. And one would think Americans would have evacuated their soldiers to safe, locations before you start a war again. But I guess they are willing to take risk with their personnel on the ground, because it's an acceptable kind of loss compared to moving them. I guess that's their calculation. So I will play this one from South Africa. I think we'll go around the world and come back to. So we've done America now, so there's no need to go too far. And the new developing news in the UK is that the UK has a new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham is his name, and he's part of the Labour Party, and they've kicked out Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. So as you can see, the UK politics is very, very interesting. When they get tired of you, they kick you out very, very quickly. I hope Nigerians learn from that, not always rubber stamping the executive all the time. Although in the UK, it's a parliamentary system, so it's slightly different. I actually think that system is a lot more accountable to the people than this presidential system of government. All right, I'm going to go to South Africa now, because South Africa has been in. It's funny, Nigerians don't talk about them too much. And Nigeria has taken a lot of insults from South Africa lately. So let me just play this from the South African minister when a Nigerian journalist asked a question.
For your questions and answers. Let me respond to the colleague from Nigeria. Firstly, there isn't any formal, I hope you can listen, because I see somebody's disrupting and she has questions for us to answer. If you would like to confirm, we've checked with DECO, they do not have such correspondence. So there isn't anything formally communicated, nothing. So we have verified. Secondly, I don't think Minister Ntshabeni needs to issue any apology, because when she stood and spoke as a minister, she was speaking on behalf of South Africans, giving feedback on some of the issues. Let's start with the issue of payments claiming. And her context was that you can't provide compensation when a person cannot provide legal basis of acquiring the assets. That was what she said. No legal basis of acquiring of assets. Actually, I'm responsible as the minister for 2 entities in justice that actually recover assets as proceeds of crime. If you are here in the country illegally and you've acquired assets, those are classified under proceeds of crime, because in terms of a legal standing, you shouldn't have. So they fall under the asset forfeiture unit.
Let me do this. If you are there, please like the video so that other people can be able to join us, and like, share, and subscribe. As you can see, the viewers are not as many. I don't know where they've all gone, whether they are preparing for church. I don't know what's going on, but it's all right. Just like, share, and subscribe to let the others know, because sometimes YouTube has a way of doing what they call shadow banning. So they don't let your viewers know when you are live. So please like, share, and subscribe so that other people can see the channel, because maybe some of our conversation here, some people don't want it to spread. That's why they will not promote it and allow people to click. So it's important that you like, share, and subscribe so that the algorithm at least will be alerted, so that it presents the video to others to click in and view this live stream. All right, thank you for that.
Asset forfeiture unit, and they go into Kara. We use that money to actually fight crime and support victims in this country. It's within our laws. So what we stand and speak on as ministers is on the basis of South African laws.
But what she said wasn't in South African law. Sorry.
Maybe that's allow the minister
No. My dear, one thing, what is going to help us first is respect for each other. Respect for the office that we occupy, because we are ministers of the state. I don't think there's any South African journalist or any South African citizen that will disrespect your sitting minister or a government official. It's not done, and it must never be done. So I thought I should literally say that. And I deliberately took this opportunity to clarify as the chair of the IMC, because the work that we do, it's in multifaceted approach. One, in terms of law enforcement, in terms of fighting crime and corruption. Fortunately, I'm also the chair of JCPS, which is a crime justice cluster that involves all other departments. So I want to reiterate as South African government that currently we do not have, once we have a legal basis or a document that is submitted to us, we will definitely appropriately respond to anyone. But I want to urge, sitting here, since that you are saying you flew here, that it doesn't help for all countries to attack South Africa unwarranted. We will have to defend ourselves as a country and defend South Africans as their elected representatives. We have that obligation as ministers. So we want to urge, as I said, if you remember our first, I don't know if you've started to follow us, our first media briefing on the 14th, we reflected that in our Lindela repatriation center, we gave a number of Nigerian nationals that the embassy was not confirming their departure because they've been sitting there for more months after completing sentences in our prison. It's a record, and we want to appreciate the embassy for responding after our visit to Lindela. Because after that, there were two countries that we raised as a concern, and that was raised through DECO, formally in writing previously, and we then announced that we've got this number of nationals. There were two countries that we're battling with, that they were not arriving at Lindela, because for us to be able to deport them, those individuals, after their sentences, is that their country of origin must confirm their nationality. And we were not getting cooperation in that regard. So we want to appreciate that that cooperation we have received, and we are continuing with the deportation. And all other matters will be dealt with through diplomatic channel. Minister Lamola, as our chief diplomat, will be able to engage with his counterpart, the embassy, on any other matter. Should there be a complaint from the Nigerian government against South Africa, we will be gladly to respond through the appropriate channel. I do not think that the SPEC are helpful to the African continent, nor our bilateral relations. So that's what I want to say in that regard. Then in relation, I think Minister of Police is the issue of, I'm not responsible in terms of the law for where people, because when people have been killed, the round will be opened again. How we conduct our media briefings is that we open the round, everybody asks, then answers. Please don't be disruptive to our media briefing. There's procedure that the chair does. No, they will call for the hand when I'm done. I'm going to appeal to you again to respect me as the Minister of the Republic of South Africa. Please.
That Nigerian lady gave this woman this in a bit of a trouble. And today, because she is asking this minister whether she would apologize for calling, saying that Nigerians should come and show the South African authorities the drug dens that are owned by Nigerians, which is a very odd thing to say. I tell you, when you watch these South African people insult Nigeria repeatedly, it just shows you how we have brought ourselves so low. Because if you look at the statement, it's basically a kind of dog whistle against Nigeria by saying Nigerians, it kind of associate Nigerians with drugs. Because how can you, in your own country, you are asking Nigerian authorities to come and show you where the drug dens are? In other words, you are not even working with Nigerian authorities to combat the drugs smuggling, which is stupid too. It tells you that we as Africans, we are a very, very horrible set of human beings. I don't know how we manage to become like this. Because how can you be part of a continent that truly needs each other as much as possible, and you are not even working on issues that are affecting your citizens? You're not even consulting Nigerians to say, okay, let's work together so that we can deal with this drug problem we're having in our country. They don't do that. Instead, they come on TV and say that Nigerians should provide the location of drug dens in their own country. That is a mad situation that we are hearing there, because the way they talk, and then in terms of the compensation issue, because Nigerian government is demanding compensation, they don't seem to understand that businesses, when they close, when they are not supposed to be closed, the owners of the business will lose money. It's not for nothing. They're not asking for handout. Your people have terrorized Nigerians to the point whereby they abandon their businesses. That has to be compensated for. People have to leave their properties, and she is saying that they can just go into the public market to go and sell the properties. But everybody that wants to buy from there will know it's a fire sale. In other words, they are going to lose money again. So you are punishing Nigerians after you traumatize them on top of it, and you want to get away with it. I say Nigerian government should respond to them. Now, let me play this next video about some of the responses that they are trying to kind of negate now.
Nationals all seize African-owned assets in nations like Nigeria, Ghana, and any African nation will actually lead to a serious economic consequence. I'm talking about due to the recent immigration challenge. According to the presidential spokesperson, Vincent Maguire insists that these South African companies contribute significantly.
I'm going to say this, South African president is so funny. So let me understand this. You made the announcement about some African countries that will be visa-free to South Africa. So since Nigeria and Ghana weren't included in your grand visa announcement, we were told nobody was needed, nobody will be missed, everyone should just move on. Fine. But the very second people start talking about reducing South African business interests in Nigeria and Ghana, the energy changes overnight. South Africa president is telling them that their economy will regret it. Wait, I thought he said...
Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Nigerians, I was underestimating President Tinubu. Look at how South Africa government is begging. One over, guys, this is what we want. By the
economy through tax revenue, investment, and even through jobs. And this
lose something they believe has no value. The math simply isn't mathing. What's even more entertaining is the contradiction. 1 minute, we don't need Nigeria and Ghana. The next minute, if Nigeria and Ghana remove our businesses, they will regret it. If you don't need Nigeria and Ghana, why are you worried about their decisions? You did your protest, you were not being questioned for it, so why are you worried about their decisions? Why does every conversation circle back to protecting assets to Nigeria and Ghana consumers? You can't call a market useless while fighting to keep your place inside it. Pick a script or stick to it, motherfuckers. Because acting unbothered while giving lengthy speeches about consequences, it's like you're saying, oh, I'm over my ex, but yet you're still refreshing their Instagram page every 5 seconds. You don't spend years telling people we don't need you. Then suddenly you're expecting applause because you've just discovered the importance of African unity. Get your shit together, motherfuckers. Where was all this unity when people were being told they didn't belong? And somehow it's funny how Nigeria is being painted as the villain just because they reacted. So let me get it straight. You dismiss people, you tell them they're not needed, you benefit from their markets. Then when they start questioning that relationship, and suddenly they are the bad guys. Ha! Makes sense. That is just like setting your own house on fire and then you're blaming the smoke. I've been going to South Africa for years now. Accountability is not something that is common there. That is why a lot of them look like avocado. Dear South Africans, please just get your shit together. Have a nice day, motherfuckers.
To run the economy the way they want to run it. Just like every other country. Ghana has the right to run the economy the way they want to, they deem it fit. Nigeria has the same thing as they deem it fit. No, you can't tell them that they've been winning. Their strategy has been winning. Let me tell you, in Ghana, in less than 2 years, they've been able to bring their inflation from 23% to 3.3%. My brother, listen to me. That's unprecedented. They have also been able to robustly build their GDP from 80 billion to 118 billion. Check me with my informations. Nigeria has become #1 stock exchange market in the world with regards to gains. Nigerian stock exchange overtaking South Korea. I'm not talking about voodoo economy. Fact check my informations. You know what I'm saying? The Nigerian foreign exchange Go very reserved. Go and check. It has grown by unprecedented measure. Ghana has been winning for the past 2 years with regards to their economic endeavors. Their economic strategy is working for them. Is it now that you are telling them that if they nationalize their assets, that it's going to go against them? You don't advise grown men who are running their economy, and they have not failed so far. So let everybody run their economy. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. Focus on building your own economy. Let Ghana and Nigeria do their own. You just release the list. Nigeria is not in the list to come to your country on free visa, and Ghana, Nigeria is not on that list, and they are not bothered. South Africa, we are not lazy down here in Western Africa. We create what we call the informal sector. It's one of the boomest. It booms. It yields so much for the economy of our countries. I'm telling you, the informal sector. The law is the law. Run your race. Let others run their race. I'll see you in my next video.
The South African government is one and government and Ghanaian government that their plan or their intentions to nationalize African companies such as DSTV and TN in the country will not be good. What is wrong with you? Are you trying to teach us how to run our economy? When your people are doing their own, nobody says anything, not even our government.
I think that one they are falling on deaf ear. Just that Nigeria seems to want to be like the big brother all the time, or big sister. They don't want to react rashly to some of the things the South Africans have done, because if you look at it, Nigeria has one of the biggest leverage to hurt South Africa economically, and they don't see any reason to do that. And for the life of me, I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe there's a reason for it that is actually valid and good for Nigeria. But what is going on in Africa right now is a very strange game, because even if we know we are supposed to retaliate against South Africa, but if we do that, that may also give the actual forces behind these things the environment that they need to actually do whatever they want to do. South Africa is being isolated from Africa for a reason. There's a reason why this is happening, and we have to be careful how we approach it. But for the life of me, I don't know how these our Nigerian leaders are thinking. Personally, I will challenge it and I will condemn what they are doing, because wrongdoing is wrongdoing, and especially they are doing it to your own citizens. You have to condemn them. That's your job, to protect your citizens' interests. You can't allow South Africa to keep doing this repeatedly, and it's not the once. They've done it multiple times. This is why South African one is unique. Just in case people are saying, "Oh, Ghana did it, Nigeria did it, and this one," no. This South African one is unique. Also, it's almost unique all over the world. They just keep doing it. Multiple times they've done this, and they have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. This cannot carry on. They can't keep doing this every 2-3 years. They go and start attacking foreigners. It has to stop. They have to take care of their crime issue. They have to take care of their vigilante issues that is going on in the country. They have to rein themselves in. Whatever their problem is, they should deal with it. All those foreigners that are coming to their country, they didn't break their door to come in. Many of them came in through flights. Many of them came in through the borders. If you want to close your border, close your borders. From what I gather, the border of South Africa, about almost 80% of the border is owned by white farmers. So if white farmers have farms on about 80% of the borders of South Africa, so what is going on there? Why are so many Zimbabweans and all the Malawians and all the others coming into it? How are they coming to the country? You can't even secure 20% of the land there that the government controls. So they really need to stop it, and they have to be made to stop it. For once, maybe South Africa will succeed in uniting sub-Saharan Africa together against them for one point. And I don't know when this AU meeting is coming up. I don't know, because I think I thought it was around July, but it seems like it's not even July anymore now. So I will check that before the end of the show, so that I will share it with everybody, because African Union needs to deal with this. This is a serious issue whereby South Africans are they just look at the way their ministers talk. They don't even seem to understand what they are doing to other Africans. Those people are full of themselves. I don't blame them. We let ourselves go now. That's why they feel like they can talk to us anyhow. So now I'll move back to Nigeria, closer to home. The Fayose issue, and that one seems to be revving, but let's hear what Fayose has to say after, a little bit of a rant that he had yesterday or 2 days ago regarding the obedience, because he visited Remi, not Remi Tinubu's son. I've forgotten his name, because he met with Sheyi Tinubu. So we'll see how that goes. Let me just play this video.
Yes.
Chief, what?
By the Oluwo of His Imperial Majesty, Oba Abdurrashid Adewale Akambi Telu One.
Hey, but where's your beat? Where's your beat?
My beat. I don't want to raise my shoulder heads.
Okay, you can sing a shoulder.
I don't want to raise shoulder heads.
You can sing a shoulder.
Yes. And Uncle Isaac, right now, I don't want you to take what they are doing to you online to heart. You know why? Some of these people don't know how these things work. They are betraying you. Why you explain? It's a betrayal.
Abi, we are not dealing with them since.
You have been saying vote to be. You have never come out to say vote APC.
Abi?
They did not see you in a campaign.
Abi? Na club.
They did not see you in a campaign ground. They did not see you carrying APC logo. You have gone against. You have told Nigeria against your own brother that is with APC.
Abi? Sacrifice everything
to the obedient movement. And you have never used your mouth to say go and vote XYZ.
Abi?
So what is now the problem?
I don't know.
Do you people automatically believe that once we are partisan, we should now be hunting ourselves with guns?
Abi? On the streets.
You posted a prayer.
Obedience don't betray me.
You posted a prayer.
Abi?
That's what you did, not obedience. I will not say obedience. Some of them.
And me and you don't pray like that before.
We have done that before.
I don't know what it is.
Anyway,
no, I don't know.
Again, another thing I'll tell you, sometimes the enemy can go act as if they're in the obedient camp. When they insult you call the best for your own so they took you. A lot of these people, they don't say politics is a dirty game. And this is why I tell them, me, I don't carry my hands and vote anybody. Or I support anybody. Because at the end of the day, man, the politicians still have their own until we come. As we, the United Movement, until we come, the time will arise. And I don't believe all these people. I don't know.
Dakiwa, the chief. Look, the chief, you go to sound.
Yeah.
Chief VDM. Chief VDM.
You see, I'm just waking up now, and I sincerely don't like the way you people are ridiculing Uncle Isaac Fayose. Now, I'll break down something for you, right? Yes, I am defending him before I even start. And I'm defending him because what you people are doing is not fair at all. And I need your brain to think completely. First of all, Isaac Fayose and Sheyi Tinubu and Cubana Chief Priest, where did they meet? It's not that you saw them in an APC office or in a campaign ground. It was a neutral ground. That's number one. Number two, in as much as he posted that, it's not as if he said, I am with Sheyi, I now have a mentality because of what they told me, I want people to vote for APC. No. He did not say vote for APC. It's even dangerous for him to stay with Sheyi Tinubu, stay with Cubana Chief Priest, and still come out and tell you to vote for Obi. That means he sits with these people. Not be saying sit with their APC office or campaign ground. He hang out with them, he still come out from their hangout after they enjoy. Still come they tell you again, say don't vote for these people. Who can tell you about people more than their close friends? If, for instance, me and Kokopi dey waka, and I come out tomorrow, come tell and say Kokopi na thief, who you go believe? Now me will contest say Kokopi na thief because now me and the waka. So automatically, all these times when Isaac Fayose don't talk say vote to be, automatically because he pray with people who don't know before politics. He has known Sheyi Tinubu for a long time. I don't know his relationship with Cubana Chief Priest, but he has known this guy for a long time. But he's still against his father to the general public. He did not even follow his own tribe, which is Yoruba. He didn't follow his own tribe. He's still telling you, vote for an Igbo man, because this is Nigeria I want. I'm not going to be tribalistic. This is the same man. His own blood brother, Ayo Fayose, if they curse his blood brother every day, because he talks to his blood brother, they follow APC, and the blood brother and money they follow. Nobody the progress of Nigeria. Automatically, you people, rage baited him, insulted him, entered his skin, made him sit down. I was looking at the video. I said, I didn't even know that this thing is that deep. Until I started seeing the video where they sit down for his side, waiting for his sides. Now I know see these people don't insult and enter inside his skin where they can overreact. This same prayer you are talking about, you did this thing in my office. You want me to copy post this one? Now my office. Everybody don't flex. Me, I don't go to drink. Uncle Isaac is a jolly good fellow. If you don't do well like that, you will know that crew stock. Person don't owe me before. Say, Alpha, I will sponsor you and your babe wedding. Where we dey from Morocco? We don't enjoy. He say, "Mo did the wedding today. That's all value."
So that is Fayose and VDM. VDM is a kind of defending Fayose that why are the obedient going after him. I say personally, I don't know why people are so sensitive about obedient criticism. I don't understand that. Just because they criticize doesn't mean suddenly you are thinking of, I need to switch camp. And especially when the criticism is just basic ones, like why did you meet Sheyi Tinubu? I don't know why people do that. Well, suddenly he was talking about, I'm going to vote Tinubu then because it's our man. He's a Yoruba man. That's not the reason. Me, I've been called the devil by an obedient. Does not mean that, okay, I should say, okay, I'm not going to support this thing, this is P2B over Tinubu. If I see somebody that's better than P2B, I will choose that person. And I'm sure many of you will do the same. So I'm supporting P2B because he is better. I feel like he's better than Tinubu. That's my own judgment. Because Tinubu seems to be governing for people that we can't even start mentioning. He's not governing for our people. And look at that phantom agency within the government. That is relatively unique. Nobody is able to stop it. And somehow now they are being investigated. God knows what is going to come out of that. This is how the country is run. Anything goes. But let's move on to the next one. The next one is about Umahi, with this issue of the lady that died while at his premises. And it appears there's a lot of conflicting information going around, as indicated by Sahara reporters. And they believe that they were not, the lady was not a nurse or from some kind of health institution, that the ladies traveled from somewhere, I think Kaduna or Kanu to Ebonyi to go and see Umahi. So, but the way Umahi has come out forcefully, and let me just play the video anyway, and let me just play the video so that you guys can see. This one has to do with the parent of the girl not wanting an autopsy.
Petition adds a new dimension to the circumstances surrounding Maria Habila's death as authorities continue efforts to determine the cause of death and whether any criminal liability exists, while the family insists that an autopsy is unnecessary and should not be conducted against their wishes. Law enforcement authorities may consider a post-mortem examination a crucial part of the investigation, particularly if the death is deemed suspicious or requires forensic clarification.
I am not suspecting anybody because death can occur. Even as we are standing here, one can fall here now and die. So we are not suspecting anybody. It has happened, it has happened. That's why I'm demanding the corpse of my daughter to go and bury her now.
I don't have much to say because I'm not in the states, I'm the rightful state of mind to speak more about her death because it's a very great loss to me. So her death has been a very great loss to me as being a close person to her. So that is just it. I don't have much to say about it.
The case highlights the delicate balance between the family's right to bury their daughter in accordance with their religious and cultural beliefs and the state's responsibility to conduct a thorough investigation where the public interest and the administration of justice are involved.
It's unfortunate, and from all indications, people want to use her as a pawn in their political maneuver or manipulation just to score a cheap political goal. And we are here to also ascertain to the fact that The minister has requested times without number for the autopsy of late Maria Habila, but the family have resolved and are determined and are still standing their grounds not to allow it because of some personal reasons and cultural reasons and traditional reasons too.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has dismissed allegations surrounding the circumstances of Maria Habila's death, urging the public to allow the matter be handled based on evidence rather than speculation. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
So this is one of those cases that touches on the nerves of certain features of the society that we live in. And nobody is actually, I am not saying that Umahi is guilty of murder, manslaughter, or even negligent, anything like that. Because we don't necessarily know what happened. But the point is that this case, this loss of life has not been handled properly. First of all, 20-year-olds don't just drop and die like that, and then you don't seek autopsy of such loss of life. Because there could be other reasons why the 20-year-old dropped dead. It could be something to do with the food that she ate. It could be something to do with a disease that is going wrong. You don't know what it is, and you're just assuming, oh, let's just go and throw it into the ground and forget about it. To what end is that? What kind of family doesn't want their child's death to be investigated? That is highly, highly irregular and unusual. And if there was a religious reason, maybe one would understand. But I don't think this was a religious reason. They're just choosing to do that for whatever reason. It could be that they have been incentivized to do that or pressurized to do it, because sometimes they will give them money, and Nigerians, you know what they are like. If they give them enough money, they might just choose to look the other way. But personally, it's not something I will support. And Umahi coming out to say that the family members, they are close family members with the lady that lost her life, and he even went on to describe the phone calls that the boyfriend to the girl made and how they found the girl on the floor and everything. How are they so sure about everything that they saw, but they didn't report it clearly to the police and then carry out an autopsy to find out why the girl collapsed on the floor in her room? Why did they not do that? Is that not the only way to clear his name? Is that not the right thing to do to clear Umahi's name? The idea of trying to bury her quickly without autopsy, that is actually the problem. His own action and the people surrounding the case, their action is what is causing it. If Tabin Umahi now is the one calling for autopsy and the family members are refusing, I can understand. But all of them are in sync, saying they don't want autopsy. Umahi is saying it's political witch hunt. Who cares whether it's political witch hunt or not? Somebody has died, and her life and her reasons for passing needs to be investigated. So that's, for me anyway, that's how I see that. I don't understand how this sort of stuff gets confounded and confusing. They just confound the whole argument and say, no, it's religious reason, it's political reason and all that. So all that is nonsense. And then there is this other strain that I feel like we need to address, where young ladies go on with some of these men in Nigeria that have a little bit of resources, sometimes a lot more resources, like people like Umahi, and all kinds of stuff going on with them. And you get this feeling that in Nigeria, the men have become highly, highly cynical of women, because many of them have seen women that they've been with or women that they thought they had a chance with completely sideline them for some of these richer people. And then in the case of the women, they've been with men that don't have a lot, but when the men they become successful, they abandon them for younger women and all the rest. So you see this pattern whereby women don't care about the men anymore, and they feel like the women don't, make sacrifice for the men or even want to hang around men of their age group. And the men too are cynical. They don't want to hang around the women of their age group because they feel like those women don't regard them for anything, and they use them and just leave them. So, and then you have these young ladies, that some of them working in banks, some of them in higher institutions, especially higher institutions like universities. They go on to have relationship with men that can provide for them. In Nigeria, all for the sake of trying to survive. Is it that the hardship in Nigeria is so much that they have to resort to that? How are their parents not paying attention to what their children are doing? I think the other day there was a video of or image of a report of a lady beating her 13-year-old child because the child was found in a nightclub or something like that. And many people were criticizing her for beating the child publicly. There's a pandemic in Nigeria, especially within the southern communities or non-Muslim communities, of having young ladies go out there, be with other men, and then they just to get money. And sometimes the money they want is not because they cannot work their way out of their situation. Well, let's say they get education, they get a job, they can find their way out. But because they want the latest iPhone, they want to get a flat, they want to be a little bit flashy, they go to those men to provide it for them. So it's a very, very interesting situation, because I call it interesting because you can't necessarily determine whether it's a bad thing necessarily, because the women feel like they are doing the right thing for themselves. Historically, women, let's not try to pretend here. Women tend to go with men that have more resources. That's the history. What is different for this one seems to be like the women go for people that are well off, but this time it almost as if the scale is a lot. It's a lot more now, and there's no guard to it. I don't know what it is really. I think maybe some other person can tell me, come and share this with me, because there's something about this one that is a little bit different. Other countries have gone through hardship before. India used to live from ship to mouth, as they call it. They used to ration food in India. They used to ration food in China. But we didn't hear all this kind of incidents occur. You know, you will hear about cases where younger women start going out with older men. As a matter of fact, I've heard of it in the UK too. When there was a recession in the UK, you start hearing about such things. You see what I mean? So, but in the case of Nigeria now, it's very, very particular. And another one that I heard about was about that some of these young women, they literally target married men because they feel like married men will give them what they want and not bother them too much. So they literally target married men. This could lead to breakup of homes, and they too could get pregnant. All kinds of complications could occur. That it's not formalized. It's not traditional marriage. It's not this in what they call it, civil marriage in any way. It's just what it is, and you can start having single parent homes all over the place. So it's something that I really find like unsettling, that needs to be addressed and discussed a little bit more, because this Mary's case is something that has brought it to the fore, for me anyway. Welcome, Okwegolo. I appreciate you for joining us today, and I'm trying to kind of have my say on all these things before you guys start chiming in. So, Okwegolo, what do you make of this Mary issue? I'm more even interested. I'm sure you already have commented on the actual case itself, but I'm more concerned about this issue of young women going out with men in Nigeria that have more resources. And there's this new one again I heard about, that they will say that they are chefs. They will say they are chefs, but actually they are kind of escorts, for want of a better word. So what do you make of this trend that is going on in Nigeria? I'm sure it's been going on for a while.
I didn't follow the news. Yes, I wasn't around. I don't know. I'm not interested in all those kind of news. But the question you asked, I don't think is a Nigerian thing. Money attracts. Money is at the cross of it. You said it. Nobody. It's not that they just develop interest in following other men. No, they are attracted by money, and that can be found in any society of today. Money is the goal. You cited an example of them wanted to have iPhone and all that kind of thing. So we live in a material world. I mean, we can't stop buying And it seems that is our way of life. And the way the economy is set up, the older you get, the more financial freedom you attain. So they are attracted by money, not necessarily as a Nigerian thing. It's the times that we are in. So whoever
Okay,
has the money
so
for the shot.
see, Ovie, so they are attracted by money. I understand that. As a matter of fact, that's why it's a little bit harder to talk about, because the whole idea is, we know women prefer men that are more successful, and to be fair, nobody should criticize them for that. It's what it is. I don't think that's the criticism here. My worry is that there's a trend there that is, like I said, it's disrupting even families, whereby they target married men without
It's not a
necessarily getting
trend,
married.
it's poverty. The poverty is just getting out of control. And we are seeing it closer now because everybody has phone. Everybody has phones out there in your face. So it's not that we are not talking about a phenomenon whereby young women just develop interest in older men. That's not the case. Now, what's it? So family who are the poverty and level is getting tighter. Everybody is becoming poor. Even the so-called uneducated, the informal sector who are 100% depend on farming can no longer go to farm. They've been driven away from their community. So the poverty level, that's what you are saying. The population is geared towards the city, and there's no job to serve everybody. Man got to hustle. So that's why I say don't see it as a Nigerian thing. They are after money, and that thing is a universal thing. So it's not
Yeah,
that
but hold
an
on,
average
though, hold
Nigerian
on,
girl
hold
just
on.
develop interest for a older woman.
Oviedo, but in the US, you don't see the same pattern, though. I think maybe it's the
Who
scale
said?
then, because like
Who tell you that?
no, hold on. The US, you will see young people go after rich men, but they tend
They,
to be the exception.
my brother,
Like,
now
I feel like the
see,
Nigerian one is spread out more. You will see
hold
most
on
young people
now.
in. Okay, go ahead.
You're not getting the point. It's okay. You are using America. What is the economic difference? Younger people who have money. So younger girls will go after, not necessarily because of the money. Now, but in Nigeria, it's obvious. So as I said, it's not that young women just develop interest over other people, and you will now be worried. Say, what kind of a phenomenon is this? But no, there's a reason why they are attracted to older men. The economy favor older men. The older you get, the more money you have, and the younger girls, the more they need to survive. As you just put family into it. So no longer because of iPhone or any other thing, and some are following older men because it's a source of income to take care of their family. So if you come to America, the economic is not that of Nigeria. Young people they get money. So why would a young girl will leave a young man who can take her out, buy an iPhone, and say an older person won't follow? The younger guys can't afford it. Those ones where they survive are surviving their own various way. So you have to look at the economic situation of Nigeria. It's becoming out of control. So you are bound to be seeing all this type of story. So the trend is not that
Okay,
young
let me
women
ask
are
you though.
after men. They're
But
they are survival.
Oviedo, if that is true, then why are the Northerners not doing the same thing?
How do you know they're not the same?
Why are the Indians are not doing the same thing?
How do you know? That's the point I'm saying. You are
Yeah,
talking about this because it's on your.
hold on. But because I've never seen a Northerner that is involved in anything like that, or at
Why
least
do you
not
think they
at
get
the
what?
scale.
Why do you think the younger girls get married quick? Are they getting married to younger people? They are getting married to older men. Now the same thing. It's not. See, you know, but tell me say Port
That's
Harcourt
an
girls like.
interesting point.
Hold on, no Port Harcourt no just like older. Nobody they like older people. It's not. It's not. That's not the trend. It's not. No, they like them for a reason. You don't forget that there's a reason why you are seeing the trend. Economic difference, they won't survive. The northern space, it is not that prominent as you see. Never today obvious in your face because of the society. They get married. What's the point of running up and down in the name of side chick when you can easily get married to an allergy that has 3 wives already, 4 wives already?
Yeah,
So
but
the
they marry
dynamics
a
are
lot of. But
different.
hold on, Sisi. We have to be fair here because when I look at the northern people, even the poorer men, they marry early too. The poorer men that drive Okada, they marry early. And I told you, I witnessed one that said he's already married one and he wants to marry a second one. This is somebody riding Okada in the north doing this.
Yeah, no. Hold on. If you ride Okada, you will survive for north, not to the place like Lagos or Port Harcourt. Economy differ. Economy determine your lifestyle. But the point is that they are getting married, right? They're getting married for a reason. They need to survive. But in our own
But the
case,
southern ones are not getting married.
yeah, the marriage is no longer a thing. Now like side chick, having concubine. So you have to look at it that way. But all depends on the economy. Why I go marry away in the name of love? We just say the husband they strive to take care of me. Why I be say if I just get my sugar daddy, visit them 1 or 2 days a week, I'm good. Independence, that's what we were talking about the other day about the needs of men in the family. Why women you don't need men again. There are so many other ways to survive. Okay, when you talk about America, what they do, and there's an alternative to in America which is called OnlyFans. Why are they doing it? Now money that they get. So yeah, you have a choice that doing OnlyFans or go for the other man. There are choices, but the cross of it is that money is at the cross of it. No, it's not a trend that young people just decide to say, oh, now older men they will just they like. It's a thing now. It's sexy. It's not a lie. They like your pocket. And the reason why it's becoming obvious because of the poverty level. You can't take that off the table.
Yes, no, I agree with you that it has to do with resources that the older men tend to have. That is true. But in America, I think maybe your argument is that because Nigeria is poorer, the women are going to go after them more. But like I said, India has had poverty. China has had poverty. How come we never heard about these sort of things in those societies?
No, in Chinese own the one child policy, I think it play a role. I can argue that. That of India, I don't know. I like the sociocultural activities of the India. I don't know. I don't know deep. I don't know much about it. But that of Chinese, I think I don't know I cannot say much about the women in China either. How their relationship be, right? But as far as I'm concerned, every woman, I don't care where you are, they like money. Once you have money, your chance of getting younger women are higher anywhere in the world. That I know. So, and again, it's not just woman thing. It's what we live in. The only religion we have is capitalism. The God that we serve is money, dollar. Anybody that comes in dollar, use our life, never remain with them again.
You know what? I refuse to believe everything you are saying because I feel like our own is a little bit different. I don't know. Hold on. Let me bring this man of prestige in.
It is different because the poverty rate is high.
But there's poverty rate there's poverty in Ghana. There's poverty in Benin Republic. I'm not sure it's this way, the way Nigerians are doing it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking because there's poverty in Cameroon. I'm not sure they are doing it like this in Cameroon too.
Yeah.
So
you're in Nigeria anyway.
Let me try to see maybe man of prestige will shed light so that all of us come into agreement on this.
Man of prestige is guilty. This is a trend. Anywhere he goes. Anywhere he goes.
Man of prestige look like this. He was born guilty of this offense.
Anywhere you go, he has younger chicks. China or Kono, anywhere you go, you get them. So
but man of prestige though, as sad as it is that this lady lost her life, as you can see, she's exceedingly good looking and just like that gone. What do you make of this trend? Because I met a Nigerian that was telling me that this thing that you do not trust the Nigerian women, you have to treat them like this and use them, go on, and this how they are. You can just go to a bank, even people that work in banks, they behave the same way. You just meet them because you have money, they'll follow you. That's how the entire thing, what we are talking about. So what do you make of it? Ovia is saying that it's just because of money. Is it the same as what you see in America? Because when I come to the UK here, the relationship between man and woman, by and large, is within striking range of age. They tend to be within 5, 10 at most years apart. It's quite exceptional before you start seeing people that are 15 years, 20 years apart in the UK. But in Nigeria now, it's like they are deliberately going for the older ones. So what do you make of this? And because I don't see the same trend in Benin Republic or Cameroon or even Ghana. So what is going on here?
Okay. Greeting and greeting of the greeting for father. This is not uncommon phenomenon. I mean, it happens all over the world. America, where we are, even where you are in British, it does happen. But the difference in Nigeria is on a different level. You know, just because of the poverty level. I mean, at least, you know, a lot of women can survive here because of welfare. Even at all the ones that don't have a job, even the ones that have a job, you know, they can survive to a certain extent. But poverty is what is actually driving Nigeria to a different level. So, but it's not uncommon, you know, it's a very common phenomenon all over the world. Women like people with money, even older people, you know, it doesn't matter. They're gonna go for them. The reason why you're talking about Nigeria, because we see it every day, and it's something that we grew up from, you know, knowing that women tend to marry older men. And right now, the poverty level, the kind of dissipation we are living right now, things has really changed. There's a lot of poverty compared to when we was growing up. So women going to go for older women more because that's who's going to take care of them. I mean, I read something that said about 80% of Nigerian graduates don't have a job. That is the statistics. And you know what's going on in Nigeria? Even more women going to colleges right now than men. So when they come out, what are they going to do? Are they going to go to prostitution? Some of them don't want to go to what you call quote prostitution. I mean, they have to find out. If you look at the story of Hollywood, do you think during that time, what's his name, Genevieve and everybody, you know, Mortal and when they was doing, do you think their money is from Hollywood? No, it's from the politicians. You know, some of them order to be their grandparents, some of them order to be their parents. That's why the men, you know, when Genevieve was living, I'm not accusing Genevieve of anything, but the lady was rich, built a mansion in Lagos, you know, built a mansion in Accra, Ghana. I know she's in USA right now, but she's just a typical example I'm trying to use. It's just a common phenomenon, and the situation in Nigeria right now has worsened. Like I give you the stats, you know, there's more women going to university right now in Nigeria on average. That's what I had. You know, I don't know how empirical fact that is. You know, it was giving like about 55 to 45. You know, more female. You know, going to school, graduating than men, but there's no job. You know, Nigeria is, you know, is probably one of the poverty capital of the world. You know, I mean, there's no job where they can work. You go, okay, what do you want them to go and do? Go and fry akara or kule. Is that what you want them to do? I mean, some of them feel like they are very pretty to go and fry akara. You know, kule, whether you give money or you don't give money, like your first lady said. That's just the fact.
But why? But why is it okay? You said our own is worse. You know, I take that on board that our situation is worse. So, because okay, Iran is went through difficult time. I don't hear about this type of stuff, and I hear
Islam
you about
is a Muslim society. Islam, it's going to be very hard for you to dictate. It's a Muslim society. It's going to be very hard for you to dictate.
So Muslim societies are more immune to such things.
Father, this is where you are driving at. I think I get it. We don't talk about the impact of Nollywood in this kind of things a lot. If you look at most of the Hollywood movies that come to our screen, project this kind of lifestyle. Some girl goes, girl will come up from village, come Lagos, come the also 13 day, go meet, go house girl, go begin date a married man. And that married man go take care of her, carry and go village, do change their parents' lifestyle. That thing, they have psychological effects growing up. It will continue, and once they see them for TV, which isn't normal. So until we start talking about the psychological effect, all the evil things that Nollywood, because most of it is extreme, most of the movie that we are getting, this is what they are glamorizing, right? They glamorize this kind of lifestyle. And Nigeria, southern Nigeria, being an open society to all, a normal thing. So, but again, the poverty rate is real. We don't talk about the population again. Our population double. So to compare that with Ghana, it would be very hard. So where you go see the Ghana for like one, you go see like 3 people or 4 people they do have for Nigeria. But almost that's the same rate. But we can't forget, we can't outline the fact that poverty is at the core, because they happen for churches. I mean, everywhere in Nigerian society now, at the end game be that. If you want bring person come, if you are a girl, you carry man go out, they look for 2 things. If an elderly person, automatically they are expecting he has money. If you don't have money, they will not say the man an old man. The man don't do this. But once he has money, he will take care of my daughter and my family. So it has even become a culture, it's a norm, and that's why you are alarmed today, because it's becoming normal, right? That's why you are alarmed. But that's what poverty does. Survival with everybody wants to survive by every means necessary. So I think following other men, it should not be put the alarm in that. Be something else.
Let me give you part of why. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe because I've been in the UK
I
for
thought
too
you were
long.
going to say, let me bring Jago in. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Jago, you are a
Wait,
comedian today.
I mean, your babe don't leave you carry. It don't leave you follow politician. That's why you are noticing.
Look at that. You see, why are you people always like this? Why are you like
You don't
this?
come back from Nigeria, all of a sudden you begin notice something that is not yours. So, Jaguar me here. Do you trust this guy? He just visited Nigeria and his side chick is gone.
He never even greets me. Say, make I come.
Welcome, Jago.
The guy wonder why his side chick disappear.
No, because see, I've been in UK for quite a long time, and generally, like someone like me now, if I'm to approach any lady and stuff, it tends to be within certain age range. You see what I mean? So when you go to Nigeria, the environment changes completely, and that is what surprised me a little bit. It takes me aback, and I don't know how to react to it. That's why
because in UK, what do you want to attract young girl with? What do you get? You want to attract young girl when young guy don't get for UK? All right.
Let me quickly come in if you don't mind. I've been listening, and it's quite interesting that you're speaking on this subject. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm going to try and make sense of what is being spoken about by giving a couple of personal stories. A close friend of mine is now in Abuja. Has been there for the last 2.5, 3 years, and in his stay there, he glorifies Nigeria a lot in terms of the opportunities that it gives him, that it offers him, as somebody who's been in Britain for a long time. In his assessment of the ladies in Abuja or in Nigeria in general, he speaks of going out and finding the ladies rather not aggressive, but know what they want from a man. And largely what they want from a man is access through finances or some sort of financing. And it's so commonly, when he was speaking about it, it saddened me a bit, because that's not the way I remember Nigeria when I was there. I remember Nigerian ladies largely being quite demure and rather sacred in their sexual practices. Till today, when it comes like almost open prostitution, where if I offer you this, you'll give me that. And that is the exchange. He went also to Lagos. And in Lagos, what he had to tell me about the association he had with ladies, quite different. He spoke about them being knowledgeable. He spoke about them in Lagos being more business and administratively orientated. And they had a focus differently from wanting monies from a man. And obviously we know in Nigeria, it doesn't matter where you are, there is that aspect of the desperation of the whole society that makes a woman even more desperate to get along. And they use what they can in order to do that in the easiest possible way, which is quite unfortunate. Having said that, his acclamation on women in Lagos was different from what he had to say about women in Abuja, that they were more go-getters, they were more knowledgeable, that um, using sex as a way to get ahead was not the main cause. So I took that as this, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is again about the economy and the desperation of the economy and what it oppresses people to do. There has to be a way out. And unfortunately, the ladies have a way out in using their bodies in order to achieve that, which may take away from their honor. We men, if we could use our bodies.
Jagon,
And the
I thought
music
this.
and entertainment industry is glamorizing it, just as Jagun
Yeah,
said it.
I
The
thought this
entertainment
spread
industry
from
is
Lagos.
mirroring that aspect. That's
Yeah, hold on. I think because what Jagon is saying is that Lagos doesn't seem to have as much of it as Abuja. But I actually thought this is something that spread from Lagos because it's based on what OV is saying, the media industry, entertainment industry. This is the kind of stuff that they encourage. And as a matter
I
of fact,
won't
I
disagree.
remember
no.
one
I think
was in Lagos.
what is trying to say
I
that
won't disagree with that,
in
Paul.
Lagos they are more sophisticated about it.
Yes.
In Lagos, I think that's what they are more sophisticated. They are not just up for, and that's because of the economic activity. There are more economic activities in Lagos and Abuja, so the opportunity will also be more in Lagos, and so the women they are more opportunity to exercise that kind of restraint a little bit first, instead of fronting as their number one goal, just as
But why? But I would have thought that Abuja has quite a lot of opportunities to make money in terms of when you are working. But let me go to this direction then, because when I went to Lagos,
now ministry work will Abuja, don't forget ministry work, and
That's
that they can only take much.
I just feel like Lagos is at the epicenter of this, not Abuja. Maybe Abuja because the politicians are there. You get, but
see, you are seeing it from the media. Jagu is telling you like experience on ground. You are seeing it from the media. That's why
Actually, I'm seeing
Lagos.
it from being in Lagos years ago. I'm seeing it from being in Lagos years ago.
And
when you go there,
Forefather, if I may quickly help you, if I can help you.
When I was in Nigeria, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I agree with you that Lagos began this kind of trend as an opportunity because, as I say, Nigerian women generally, I will speak for Yoruba women as well. That they had a different idea about the whole sex matter. Many of them used to stay virgins until they're married. That's my experience with Yoruba women, and Nigerian women at large. They held themselves very, very well. But this economic situation that we have in the country is dire, and it pushes people to extremes. And the extremes that you're talking about does emanate from places like Lagos. However, in that we have Abuja, and my friend is a recent somebody who's gone back to Nigeria and he bases himself in Abuja. He talks about very many affluent women that he has met, and he talks about their prowess in terms of running life by themselves, even though they have husband. What they're doing is serious on their own merit. However, the ordinary people who are in Abuja, women, they're finding life not so easy. So generally, their whole play is not to be necessarily overly educated, but really to use what they can in order to move forward and to try and attach themselves where they can to a man who has money. This is a reality, right across Nigeria.
Some people say it's greed.
Jago, people even go to University of Abuja just to get attached to a sugar daddy or a politician. The University of Abuja,
It's like
Yes, I've heard.
every girl has an uncle in town. Every uncle, every weekend I'm going to see my uncle. Every weekend I'm
Now,
going to
wow.
see my uncle. It's a lie.
Now, wow.
I hear you.
Now, wow. Some people say it's greed.
So
It's not because the women. No, actually, there's an element of this where some of these
it's greed on both
women
sides.
they come from healthy, relatively healthy, well off, not very well off home, but not like they are starving. Some of them attend private universities in Nigeria, but they still do these sort of things. So, and
Yeah, but
maybe
they
that
want
is
to
where
be
I'm coming
no, but they want to be trendy. They don't just want to have an iPhone, latest iPhone. They want to have a lot of bags, this trendy bag. They want to have more than their parents
Yeah,
is
yeah.
willing to
Somebody
give
told me
them.
that. Somebody told me what you just
Yeah,
said.
more
Yeah, somebody
than
told me
so.
they want to show up
It's
on
not about
Instagram
being
and
glamorous and being trendy and all, just for the sake of it.
they said
I think
the social media is
capitalism.
part of it.
I think capitalism at the center because capitalism to survive you have to buy. So we keep buying even when we don't need it. But and you are seeing it in Nigeria. The Nigerian woman doesn't just want to survive it alone just by getting a daily bread or just getting a normal. No, he or she wants to keep up with what he or she is seeing around the world from the US and America. Right? That's why the Nigeria is open. Those things are televised to us directly. So a village girl, who see a small girl in New York flaunting Louis Vuitton bag, iPhone, this little girl, she believes she can do it. And God bless her. One uncle come from Abuja or from Lagos, come with one small Mercedes, give her small money, give her a phone. And that's the trend. The next village girl see her and go say, so it's not just want to belong. That's another aspect of it. I want to belong to the rest of the trend in the world. And I think that's one aspect of the social media that if you want to look into what Sultan was saying, that social media is a terrorist organization that is bad for the society, you have to look at it from that angle too. It's not very regulated. Phone is free in Nigeria, not in UK. In UK today, you got to be
Wow.
16 years to even access the internet. But in
Yeah,
Nigeria,
that's true. Yeah, you can't
so
actually.
it's
So
out
Nigeria
there.
is free, but oh
Nigeria is
my
open.
God, we're in trouble.
That's
We are in
open.
trouble. And our politicians are not regulating these things. This is why I was saying that even
They
in Nigeria,
favor them.
they will be advertising overseas work or opportunities for you, schools and all the rest. And
Yeah.
porn now is one of them. And there's this thing now that is going around
Now
where
we're gambling now, sir.
yeah, because I asked people questions about these things, you see. So when one of them said some of all these women that are going with all these men, that some of all these men, they use them for all kinds of sacrifices and all this kind of stuff. Like in the case of Nigeria now, this lady now, some people will say, oh, he used that for something. That's exactly what one guy told me when I went to Abuja this time. So he was saying that some of all these men, that he knows them, that he should not take them seriously, and this is how they are, that all of them are like that. And another woman even went and said, every girl, they call it runs. Every girl, every
Bros,
lady
yeah.
does it. It's like, that is
Bros.
what I am concerned about. That this is not your everyday. There's something else going on there. And now, I think somebody mentioned that the women now they are more educated. They go to universities more than the men. So there's a trend going on out there. You're going to have a lot of women out there in Nigeria now that would not want to be part of a family. They just want to do their own thing and they want to live this type of lifestyle. And because there will be consequences in the future. They are targeting even married men now. They target married men. They are not married though. They're not going to marry the men. They might even have a
That
child
is
for
the
the man, but they are not going to
consequence.
be
That's
married.
the consequence of poverty. The country is shrinking in power and we are reproducing. Those are the consequences. We can't now. There's no way we can stop it overnight without taking care of the basics first, right? So it's alarming. Jagun said something that I kind of reckon with about the Southwest. That it doesn't used to be like this. Again, well, I think again, Jagun will agree with me. We keep forgetting that maybe 50% of the Yorubas are Muslim. So the idea of getting married early, having more than one wife, is also helping that why we are not seeing them at the forefront of this phenomenon. So, but a lot of things has changed over the years. Just like saying that they used to see virginity as everywhere, but today now, who virginity help? Now you go to hear who virginity help. Small girl will be telling you who virginity help.
I think
the
almost
Cold War. It's a common to say.
Sorry,
Is it
almost all southern groups are in it. Even middle belt groups that I've known. In short, let's put it this way: the
now
non-Muslim,
the Christian world, the Christian world.
I've not seen the Muslim ones at it. The non-Muslim ones are the ones doing this, and
The
it's
Christian
just really
world.
in that community. And then they will start complaining when Muslims start dominating, because these are the kind of things that lead them to become disadvantaged in society, because you are
Well,
forming.
Sorry,
Go
and
ahead.
I agree with Ovier to a very large part. But I don't think it's down to religion. I'm from a family that is mostly Christian, and we have a good chunk of Muslims within our family. And both, in fact, if I would be honest, I would say that the more sneaky, not that they're both sneaky, but the more sneaky in going outside of the realms of their doctrine, as it were, it would be the Muslim. They have ways of doing their own. The Muslim women.
Jago, listen to
I don't
this.
want to bring this down to a religious point, because I don't think it is. I think it
This is why I
really is.
said that, Jago.
I think
This is
it's
why
economic. I think
this
it's
is why I
economic.
said that. It's
And
based
I
on what
know.
you said that. No, you said things have changed. Things have changed since the coming of Christ Embassy. When Christ Embassy was introduced to Nigeria, you know their slogan, "Come as you are." If you want to see mini skirts, go to Christ Embassy. If you want to see beyond mini skirt, when you go to Christ
Momo,
Embassy, sit
I
on the
can.
ground floor.
You know, the example you're giving can be seen in any world, any country in the world. And again, there is a good argument there. But I'm talking about when it comes to Nigeria and the downgrading of our own women. Whilst we try our best, I suppose, to lift them up, and whilst Nigerian women, they are doing very well for themselves, thank you very much, in various ways, and keeping their morality to a large degree. I mean, again, I think we can look at our families and suggest that largely within our families, the women have upheld their end of the bargain, generally. So that's what I can say for myself. I ask you to speak on the same level, because when we speak about women, we aren't speaking about some uh, phenomena that happens way apart from us as human beings. They are part of us,
Yeah, but yeah,
and in that
we're not
we have
blaming
to.
them.
Momo. Let me just say these, that we have to. It's a fair for me to have my daughters in Nigeria growing up in the present state. My generation, there were those who grew up here to the ages of 15 and around with their siblings. Were taken back to Nigeria at that time and had an awful time of it. Some succeeded, some had a great time. But many, I've got people in my family, I can tell you about people I know, who one committed suicide because she couldn't handle Nigeria. She was a very intelligent girl, but the Nigeria was just too harsh for her. Too harsh. Another, who was a lot stronger, unfortunately, was raped throughout her university time, both from uh, students and professors. This was her experience. Now she can't have babies. That's to the level. So we have to know that whilst it's men ruining women, not them ruining themselves. Let me just remind us of
Okay,
these. Let me just
Jago, let me
remind us
say this.
of these levels.
But Jago, what you are saying there? Hold on, sorry, Governor, sorry. Let me make this point, I beg. What Jago is saying is the foundation, is what is responsible of our pride, right? But what is happening today? What me and Two Nigeria is trying to highlight is the factor that is pushing back on that family value that you just established.
is not just economic factors at the forefront of it, but other way of life, right? The way we practice our Christianity today is contributing to that. That's why I like that, and I like the Muslim way of life. We cannot deny that fact. The family today is facing. So the family is facing family that you got described is feeling attack from everywhere. Go ahead, sorry.
Man of prestige, go ahead. Oh yeah, he's gone off. Jagun, I'm sorry to hear about what you described just now. It must have been quite nasty for any family to go through some of the things you described. I'm sorry to hear that. In terms of whether women are exempt from the issues, I think it's a holistic thing. Men have to hold men accountable, and I think women have to raise their sons to also be protect other women instead of taking advantage of them, because mothers are very important to their sons, and you can see that in the way sons behave when they grow up. You can insult their dad, they will get away. You can get away with it, but insult their mom, that's the one they will draw the line for you. So it shows you that women still have influence over the men, especially when they are young. I've had this in a conversation with women too, and I've told them, you guys have to start raising your sons to protect your daughters. Tomorrow they are going to get married to another person's daughter. They need to learn to protect them. They need to learn that they are there to protect and provide.
But we ask them to raise both the daughter and the son to be winner. Hold on for Tunanja. We're asking for too much from the women. We are asking her to raise the son and the daughter to be a breadwinner at the same time. The two of them have to go in competition.
Nobody said about breadwinner.
That's what the society is saying. That's what. No, not you. That's what the society. That's what the society is expecting of them. Equality of the thing. That's what the society is expecting.
I agree with what you are saying, but we shouldn't encourage women to be breadwinners at this stage. This is not. They should be competent. They should be able to work, but we
have to change our economic
acquisition for the family should not rest on the woman.
We have to change our economic architecture.
I agree with Forefather's premise. Forefather's premise is that there's a job to do in raising children generally. But when we look around, and I'm talking globally now, men get the majority of the upbringing. And when I say that it's not beneficial, but it can be oppressive, especially when raising a man is very important, but raising a woman is just as important. And I see around the world that men are being raised and women are being left to their own devices to a large degree. Now, I'm not thinking that's the same in Nigerian circumstances, but in Nigerian circumstances, the mothers largely, for one reason or the other, have a strange way of raising men. You see, raising a boy to a man is a job of seriousness, and you have to make sure that the natural confidence of a boy is not taken away from him too early, or he's not overly attacked. I find a lot of our Nigerian people, they're not men. When I say this, they are like masculine. I don't want to say that masculine women. I don't want to say that. X that. I want to say that
as a feminist, I would say, why would I raise my daughter the way you say I should raise the boy at the same time? The same way.
Because they're different. Because they're different. And what I would say is that a lot of time women, when they're raising boys, they take away their boyish confidence, and they are unaware of that is a really emasculating and rather archaic thing to do, because we have to be men, and we can see from a lot of people's utterances that they are weak, they are not forthright, they use language largely to cover themselves from any blame, as opposed to making clear statements so one can see where one stands. And I find this being very, very bad for the Nigerian as a whole, politically, educationally, morally, in so many ways. That a man is not a man. A man is. Me. I don't sneak around. Imagine a man sneaking around. That's the amount. That's the amount that are in politics today. People that are just sneaking around. I mean, a man doesn't sneak around for God's sake. I mean, it's disgusting as far as I'm concerned.
Jack, what I'm suspecting is that the men now, the reason why women raise men to become how they are is because they were at one point, maybe in the 70s, 80s, they believed that masculinity is a threat to a kind of almost humanity because we are
Yes.
warlike, we want to do so. They feel like they need to dumb that down a little bit. And I think that was a mistake because you can instead of you to dumb it down, you should channel it in a different direction. Because if human beings are used to hunting wild animal before, then they started hunting human beings. Now they started going to wars. You can channel it to other areas because men have to be men, just like women have to be women. And I feel like what happened in the West is that they somehow thought if they make the men more feminine, that was going to be beneficial. And now you are getting the pushback of it. That most men now are saying, no, we don't like it. That's not how we are. We are not like that. So, and I think the women choose to take that on board, teach the men how to protect their families, teach the men how to provide for the family and provide and protect the elderly. And all
What
those
it
sort of things.
is
If you
again?
raise them like that, pardon?
Well, yes. The thing is again where I stress that it's not a religious problem, but a problem of how individuals articulate and expatiate on their core. If your core morals are based on your religion, but you are brought up in such a way that makes you and your religion shy from each other, that you don't really know how to defend these strong morals because you are not of a strong moral character yourself, then it'd be easier to see religion as to blame. But no, the tenets of most religions, if we're taking it, Christianity, I will take on board. The tenets of Christianity is to be honorable, honest, forthright, understanding that you'll make errors, be able to open and admit your errors and still go forward. These are the basic tenets. Now, if you are somebody who doesn't have that at his core with a moral compass, then I'm afraid, it doesn't matter what you bring to the table. It's not going to work. We have to do a job as Nigerian parents of bringing our children up in such a way that they are thoroughly reminded that they are men and women. That is what they are entering into. And they are responsible for these parts of their nature. And this is what their nature dictates for a man at the core. And this is what it dictates for a woman at her core. If we continue like that, attaching things to us as human beings that could be mechanized through theology or any other mental spiritual structure, that now we know what is good that we can bring to ourselves and what it is that we reject. Because right now, we must be honest, when we listen to our politicians, we can't tell what they're saying. We can't tell what they believe in. We can't tell what it is that they have for a future for us as humans. Apart from the history that we have that tells us that it's all doom and damage. We've got what you're speaking about now, forefather, the subject of women. For me, it is at a core for us as human beings. Our women are precious, or supposed to be. Our women are delightful. Our women don't offer us poison. Our women should be able to be trusted. But because the women can't bloody trust men, what is it that we expect from them? I offer it to you.
Thank you. And when you mention some of the characteristics of Christianity or Western, this thing, part of it used to be chastity, and that chastity seems to have completely been dashed. Like it's like I think it's been dashed in the West for quite a long time, and they dashed it, and in Nigeria they dashed it since the maybe 2000s actually, because I think in the 90s it was beginning to erode, but by the 2000s that's when this trend really kicked off.
By the 60s, by the 60s, that's when it started. The 60s.
The 60s, oh my God! Is it that maybe we're always downhill? Isn't it? We're going downhill. So
no, it's for real. That was the state of the sexual revolution. That was when contraceptives came in. A lot of things that gave access to having free sex without the fear of pregnancy. You see.
Yeah, in the West, that's where it really started. That's where, but in the case of Nigeria, I feel like it really took off in the 2000s. It started in the 90s, but it took off in the 2000s. And in the case of Nigeria, and there's an element of that we seem to have forgotten that these things were there for a reason initially. And now nobody cares. Everybody is free for all. Let's do whatever I like. In a way, I don't mind, I just have to, I'm trying to be like, because it's tempting, you see. Like if I'm in the UK now, the kind of women you have access to naturally is the age range is limited, isn't it? You have a certain band of age range, then they are
not for me.
Look at this one. Look at this. But when you go to Nigeria, the whole thing just blows open. You see what I mean? So and I find that a little bit uncomfortable actually, because I'm not used to that. Even when I was in Nigeria, I wasn't used to that. Not to mention returning back to see this now. So that is part of the reason that I'm struggling to understand. What is this? Is it a good thing? Should we welcome it, or is it a bad thing that we should kind of say, or is it neutral? Is it? Does anyone think it's neutral?
I might jump into talk about its neutrality, even though for us as men, we might be balked or disgusted even by it. When my friend spoke about it, man, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy that that's the state of women in Nigeria, because I was thinking, what can you get from this stock? He is unmarried with 4 children, from 2 different women, and he's got his life in order. Apart from the fact that a wife in his life would be fantastic for him in this stage of life. So him going back to Nigeria and seeking a woman, and he being somebody who like Oyinbo women, so the fact that he did inside where black women did, I want him to champion one black queen for himself or more. So in his entertaining of this arena, it seems puzzling for him. It seems like he will more likely find a woman from outside of Nigeria to bring in than a country of 250 million people, half of them being women. He can't find one woman there. I don't want to believe that. I say it's neutral in the fact that this is a response. This is a response of women. This is a response of their desperation. This is a response of their own individual oppression that they have from a society that is largely male structured. This is a response of the women to say, me, I'll go find my own, or I'll go do my own, because I just can't be desperate like this. So whilst I'll say it's neutral, I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's nice for us as men, and I don't think it's nice for us as a country.
Jago, you said sexual revolution started in the 60s in the UK?
Yeah, kind of, for those reasons.
So you should not be surprised now, because I think it's Osley that says that the pleasure They'll use pleasure more to control humanity than force, than brutal force.
Deep talk.
So
Deep talk.
yeah, so now is at the peak of that. What started in the 60s, we are at the peak of it now. And you see, if you look at the Epstein file, right? Pressure, the layoff for younger women, pressure themselves that led to almost all of them falling. So he said that the humanity will be, they'll use pleasure to control humanity more than using brutal force. So what started in the 60s is now in our villages.
Indeed. I think that's a good synopsis.
But Jagon, when this
So
type
it's
of
a plan.
situation starts arising, children might emerge from them, especially, and these children are not necessarily protected under any kind of legal prism as marriage or civil partnership or anything like that, and it's just from hookups and runs. So, and then you also have the women now looking at the world from the point of view that, hey, I'm educated, I want to chase my career, and I'm not going to have a family. They're going to have single parent homes, less women having children. Because those people that you're having runs with, many of them, they don't even get married. They target married men, but they don't get married to them. But before,
Naija, if you are
polygamy,
complaining now
they are allowed to get
because you are, if you are complaining, if you are alarmed now because you are seeing it physically, what about when our internet and subscription and the economy get better and they move to OnlyFans? So that's the next level. That's the advanced world of what you are complaining, because that's where we are headed. Southern
I
Nigeria,
don't know
to
why
precise.
Nigerian government doesn't control the internet in any way. What kind of, even the UK
No,
controls the
it
internet? What is
favors
wrong with
them.
Nigerian
It
government?
favors them.
Wait.
It favors them.
I think what both of you said earlier, forefathers followed Ovie by underlining what Ovie spoke about in terms of the controlling pleasure being how to control minds. And I thought that was a really serious statement that you were following in speaking about the progress of this into Nigeria and what it means. And I'm afraid we have to really take it seriously, the control of minds and where we all are. Do you know that the majority of empires fell by the time it came to sexual deviancy? Sexual deviancy was
Yeah.
at the end of Rome, Greece, you name it. It was the end, it was the last level before it came to a sudden and sudden end. And I believe that because the world is still massive, even though it's becoming a village, we in Africa, we are still in a very innocent position with our underdevelopment, with all the things that we see as lack. There is a way that we can correct ourselves within that realm that makes Africa and the larger South a kind of haven as for humanity. You know, we really got to, the thing that Ovie mentions is serious, and I think we've got to kind of really talk about it. You know, put a bit of brake on and talk about the fact that all roads are trying to control our minds, and it's becoming easier and easier. And if you're like me and find the sexual relationship between man and woman the most wonderful thing that one has experienced, you know, man go suffer, you know what I'm saying? And I have to really know how to, I'm an old boy.
Jago, what you just said, your grandkid will come and argue with you. That's fast.
Well, I'm saying that you're laughing. I'm saying that these are realities of life. When I look back on my family, it's not my grandchildren. I look back on my family, my grandparents, my great uncles. Bruh, they were magicians with women. They love women. And I saw all these things in my sight. My uncles, my dad, they loved women and they knew how to treat them. And I am a graduate of them. And in such, I feel strongly that the generations to come, given the power that this sexual matter has, they will all be befallen. It's only after a long while that I knew how to control my sexual energies. It took a long time of
So
serious
do you think this stopping of teenagers in accessing the internet in Britain is a good move?
What I think is that pornography is a living sin. Just to have it because man's imagination is stronger than any pornography. You don't need, but right now pornography is eroding the intuition of imagination. So when
Because
we
it's free
see the
access.
so young, they're killing the spirit of young boys and girls. They're killing. You'll be surprised the amount of girls
Yeah.
that are viewing pornography. Girls back in my age group, they weren't viewing pornography. They'll look at it for a while and oh, I can't. Now they won't. It's not that they're searching for. No. So we have to be honest about all these levels of progression. And again, with the word, the power in the words that Ovie used, talking about the control of the mind through pleasure. I think that needs analyzing.
Oh
I
no,
don't think we
I
can
think
just
I
let
think
it
that,
go
that
right.
I think was it not on the Green Mile that said where the guy was saying they kill them with their love. So things that people love is often
Right.
one of the best ways to influence human beings, and pleasure is one of those things human beings love a lot. There is this aspect that I wanted to highlight in this trend, because like these ladies now are going with young men, and that's older men. I mean, and I would like to think that most people believe that they don't actually like the older men, they just like them for their resources.
Sure.
If that is the case, now we are going to have a whole set of generation of women that live their life in a form of lie, whereby they pretend as if they like someone while they only needed the person for their resources. And what do you think the implications of that would be in time? Because then the ones that are prospering are the ones that have lived those lives, while the ones that are more honest with their feelings and hang around the ordinary guy will not prosper. So, what would emerge from that? Is that a positive thing?
I think it's going to be just like before. There's a stage to where we get to now. Before, going back what Jago was laying down to us. Before, first of all, teenage pregnancy. No, pregnancy out of wedlock is a taboo in the Nigerian context. It's the family value, it's a taboo, right? Now, gradually that becomes accepted thanks to the Nollywood. It now becomes teenage pregnancy. Thanks to Nollywood again, TV, video, movie, make teenage pregnancy as a normal thing. In fact, it graduates from there to now baby mama. It's a normal thing. I don't even want to get my own house to have baby mama. So the next stage is what the question you are asking. I don't know. Trust me, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Because right now you are seeing a mother and a daughter doing the same thing. In the next 20 years, you are going to have a generation doing the same thing. So before even to have a girlfriend, a boyfriend at the age of 18, 19, 20, they say it's not something you can't even take a girl to your house as a guy even at the age of 21, 22. But today, parents are asking their 13 years old, 14 years old kids, ask that your friend, don't you go and play with your boyfriend, with your girl? Oh, they say, oh, if you ask them, what are they? Oh, they are just friends. So gradually, the society is accepting it. So now, why I went back that far? Because you are asking a question that we don't know the answer, because Everything now is going visual. During the Jagu days, in fact, you have to go to newspaper to see pornography, right? During my days, now TV and phone. These days, now, in fact, it's in the cloud, right? You are seeing it as if you are in it. You are going to imagine in the next 10 years, you immerse yourself in it. Children will not even want to go outside and play with their neighbors anymore, not talk of friends, because they have everything on cloud. So we can't control it. So the question you are asking, I don't know the danger we should be expecting, because I don't see anything good thing coming out of it. We are going to see a society family cannot hold respect.
I like that your answer, because it appears like you really are thinking about it to an extent, because it's very hard to permutate what the consequences will be. However, one potential consequences of that, because that behavior, that tendency, because I think now it's important. We have to watch our language now.
What's that? Who showed up?
Ladies here.
Who showed up?
I was like,
Who showed up?
Hello is there. Are you not seeing your screen? Hello is there. So,
I'm happy she's here. I'm happy she's here. But I want to speak after you've spoken. I wanted to
before she starts, she has to tell us our own age. She will need to mention our sugar daddy's name before she starts.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I followed.
Let me finish what I was saying. Yeah, you can follow.
Yes.
So, like, what I'm beginning to think is now, while you were answering it over here, was that you may have women and that will raise other women and maybe even boys that have this mentality whereby they'll say, you know what, focus on your goals, not necessarily too much about feelings.
Yep.
And the interesting thing about that is that is how elites live.
Yep.
You understand? Elites,
Cool.
That is how they think. They are not following feelings too much. So could that be a good thing?
Well,
from that point of view, is that a good thing or bad thing?
If it's a good thing, that means robots will take over our women from us.
Well,
But robot doesn't have feelings, and they will treat you well.
The thing is, I was gonna come in before. I was gonna speak.
I'm busy. I'm planning to go to search for Uhuru.
Don't go to anywhere.
Let me grace you.
Stay there.
Wait, you got one lady here. I just let me grace your presence with to bless you all with my presence. You know, when no woman refused to come, and you're here, salivating over pretty women. You know, in your mind, in your mind. You have the gut to discuss about women and never talk about how men are the ones that create those problems themselves.
You didn't listen to the whole show, madam.
I listened, my brother. You defended us well, and I have respect for your dog, my cat. But you see these two, and our forefathers that is now. I don't know what he's becoming now.
Do you want to take Jago as your sugar? I mean, you don't have to work this hard. You don't have to work hard.
He's even closer. He lives in the UK. Oh, Ishidada, he's in the UK here. You know, say me, I not get shame. I go talk and the way he be. Ishidada.
Jago, I trust you.
After now, you go send text message. Say, they're very, very rude. Person when no they shame. Man, slap you for a year now.
Oh dear.
You see how you talk to young men. We are young, so you know we're respect us. That's why you like older men. Like Jago.
Is that of love from God?
You talk to me anyhow, You are talking to a young man anyhow. You see, Tunaja, you see where we are?
Tunaja, no save over from my handle. All right, I'm sorry. Okay. Let me be nice.
No, we just did you. Go ahead.
So, you guys can't do without us, and you can never get enough of us, okay? So, when you have women in your lives, give them respect. Money is not everything. Sometimes you see these women going out there doing olusha. I don't know how it is. I've never done that because me, I can just do like this. I get man. I don't need to sell my body for you go. You know, if you know men, I know how to get them. They just they fall like that for your hand. I guess just the dipping for people, they just the verse there. So I can assure you that some of those women out there, I don't think it's only money that put them out there. I just believe so. That's what I think. Oh, I don't know, but I do believe that money is not everything. Even though some of those big girls now that have those that dated these presidential candidates now, where are they? Do you know what I mean? Were they happy? They acquired wealth and everything, and then what? And then what? They were pretty, they had money. You can't tell me that even though people see that they're dating those men, that there were no men that were ready to stoop low to eat from the palms of these women that get money from bigger men. Men, they prostitute themselves too. You people have to consider that men are the #1 prostitutes all over the world, but they hide it very well. They drive their women mad, and then they will now come around publicly like as if they are innocent. Imagine that. Time will come when women know the shame again, say they no go marry. That's said a joke. I can't hear you, sorry. Let me go out and come back in. I'm sorry, guys.
I think I muted myself actually. Sorry about that.
Well, me,
I
wasn't talking. It was, I think, my turn. In that I wanted to come between yourself and Ovie earlier, but we had this. Ovie said certain things that hopefully I haven't forgotten. In what the answer to the question you put forth, Father, as to where are we going, what's going to happen. Ovie said he balanced on I don't know at the end, after reiterating some of the issues we have. And whilst he was speaking, I was thinking that, look, right now, the sexual revolution, if you like, that we have in the world tells us that there is more than one sex, more than two sexes, I beg your pardon. And given these kind of references, we know kind of where we are. The whole idea of a robot that you mentioned earlier was, again, quite significant, because that's where we're going. There are people in the world today who are already having some kind of sexual relations with some kind of avatar, in it being a cloud, in it being something electronic.
There are lots now, don't you know, Mr. Jago? Ask him.
Well, let me try and put my case forward.
Okay.
I'm getting to the point that this haven that I speak about, owing to the fact that we have some kind of advantage in the lack of, if you like, for want of a better word, the underdevelopment of Africa gives us an advantage in still being able to see and feel the natural world around us. In Europe right now, the whole infrastructures that we have across the West is already set up for a kind of switching of lifestyle right across the board that would switch our minds into a real communication between man and machine. So this is where we are going. What we are going to do about whether we like where we're going or not is the question. Knowing that what we're going to, we have to understand is, do we want to become so unnatural? You forefathers, and indeed Hello, would argue about the constructs of natural hair in terms of women wearing wigs and an unnatural hair. And this is, we're now going into natural sex or unnatural sex. And we have to decide, because there are people that would argue on both sides. So we have to know what we're doing in Africa.
That is a fair point. You wanted to say something, Hello? Or you can go ahead.
I just want to say, in the world we live in today, fortunately or unfortunately, things happened that made women turn out to be the way they are. And as well, I'm not going to blame the men 100%, but they are the major contributors of women's behavior. They shape it a lot because the part of the world we come from, which is Nigeria and Africa, it's a man's world. That's what they used to tell us from small. When you sit down like this in the village, they will just close your leg, or see some you know, you can't sit anyhow. You don't want any man to see your distance, your in between and stuff like that. So then after some time, you get to a stage where those women now go to town. They say, oh, I've come to a place where there is, you know, the world is getting more civilized. They're getting more educated. They are forgetting teachings of their mothers and fathers, the way our parents lived those days, you know, how they married. Most of them married as virgins. And I still believe that there are virgins still in Nigeria now. I do believe that. It's just that sometimes their mates may even shame them. Oh, you're still, you know, a virgin or stuff like that. Where things, if we don't stop our youngsters copying the West, copying another culture, instead of developing or maintaining or updating our family unit in the way it should be preserved, and also pull the ears of our men to learn to respect women, so that women, because sometimes men think that women are weak, but actually women are not weak. Women can actually be playing fool, but they can take a drastic decision that will destroy an entire generation of men. That is a woman for you. They never forget. So when there is some sort of respect, you don't have to really, it's not about money. It's not really about money. That's what I think. If there is respect for women, just look at how that man punched the hell out of the wife, you know, the gospel singer, and unalive the wife and stuff like that. And some women will just look at them like, even though they are not in that shoe, they'll say, look at that. See how they treat us and stuff like that. Then we can now say, okay, these men can be toys as well, even though they are humans and you know what I mean, Mr. Jago. So they would say rather, you know, they don't want to be human anymore. They want to be machines. They want to cater for lifestyles. They want to be like, you know, Beyonce or those other people. But I still believe there are people who are traditional, regardless, even if they've traveled. They say, some of them will say, if monkey goes to London, they are still monkey, if you know what I mean. It's like an adage. And if robots will replace men on bed sexually, I support that. If men fail to look inside themselves and begin to realize that they are part of the problem, until they realize that, they will create a generation of women that will become hardened and don't really give a toss. And maybe we'll start buying test tube babies and the world will be over. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that is a very
is that a
interesting
threat?
point to
Is that a threat? Is that a threat?
because
it's a promise, darling. It's a promise. Carry your big head like man, say you can man.
That's not a threat.
One day you be shit.
That is not a threat. The truth is that okay, there's always a set
Imagine
of
you
people that
prefer
will
Chinese
prefer.
robot pass Odogu.
Hold on now. Let me just finish. There are people that will prefer natural ways, and I think most people might even gravitate towards unnatural ways because human beings are quite lazy. They will choose the part that is cheapest. If the robotic way is cheaper, they will go in that direction. But if it's not cheaper, they will still prefer human beings. That said,
it's not about cheaper. Do you know that some women, even the married ones, don't know what it means to get to heaven and come back? I'm telling you that because their men deprive them of that. A woman don't have to be wayward. If your husband and wife, the woman is not a slave to use it in whichever way.
No,
she's loyal. No. You know, she's trying to build a family, looking after your children, and then you just use her like piece of food, and then disrespect her, spit on her, and stuff like that. Obviously, she will not be herself around you. She will pretend. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, but we have to be careful about using these cruel cases of some men that are actually not normal men to define men. And
Yes.
because if you look at men, the men visit more violence to men than they actually visit on women. Men are a common denominator. They are purveyors of violence, and they are that same trait that they have is the reason why we have societies that are existing today. We conquered the environment, conquered the wild animals, and conquered each other and created the civilization that we have today. And when you say, women can prefer all those things, and
In
men
the process, we conquer women. In the process, we conquer women.
We conquer women. I see. The truth is that I'm not sure we conquered women. I don't think we conquered women. We didn't conquer women.
Forefathers, Ovie thinks it's a competition. You're conquering women, but you guys are men are predators. If you're trying to conquer a woman, you do not.
No, I am actually supporting you. I say in the process of conquering the wild animal, the wild world, they dedicated the woman to one side, but now the women have decided to wake up. The environment is no longer a threat. Animals are no longer threats. We need to take our place, and we are fighting back. So I'm actually taking your side.
Those things are still a threat. Those things are still a threat. It's just because the men maintain the boundaries. That's what I wanted to respond to Hello about. That when you said that the men will be gone, and no, the men could retreat. Like you see, say there are trends in the West where they could just say, you know what, maybe because we've done our work so well that these women have lost respect for us. They might just pull off the this.
It's happening actually. It's happening. Men are withdrawing.
So, but I don't think that's serious. I hope it's not. But my own take on this topic is that maybe there will be negative consequences in the future that we are not seeing, even if I still think that that Machiavellian way of thinking about, being about business. Okay, this man is giving me this, I'm getting this from the man. After all, this is how elites think. So why is it not good for the masses to do the same thing? So it's the question you have to ask yourself. So I don't know where it balances, and I think I'm like Ovie on that front. Prestige. I think maybe we can move on from this topic, or except you want to add something to this topic, because this thing in Nigeria, I don't know how to think about it. I really don't.
It's not in Nigeria. There are more men in China than women. So we are
talking about Nigeria.
I'm surprised you're still regurgitating what we already said before. So can we move on to something better than just this woman palava? We already talked about the woman palava.
Father, you are trying to put Sansa in a man of the sugar honey pot.
That's why I came here. I'm going now. You people continue to bash women.
No, we are not. How did we bash women? The topic was about what women were doing. That's why
we had a topic about men.
We've been speaking about this for about 2 or 3 hours.
When we talk about politics, we are bashing men all the time.
Forefathers, I'm going to fight you.
Oh, yeah, forefather, change the topic.
No, not change. The other time it was their
before Hello stop answering my call.
Now is there this thing. I want you guys to have a particular day for women to come here and tell you guys how we want you guys to be good fathers to us, so that things will work out.
You'll be the only woman here, Joe.
Have you ever asked women?
I am ready to be a good father. You said I'm not old enough. You want older man because I cannot take care of you.
Okay. Isn't that the problem? We are in trouble now.
You see?
All the men that want to be good fathers, you guys dumb them. You see?
I cannot take care of her. I cannot buy Gucci.
Yes, is it this floor I'm going to be sleeping?
It's not every woman that wants money.
Imagine, she wants to go to Nigeria. She said I must buy a first class flight ticket. Now first class, they take time with before. Yeah, because you don't get man. Now you have a man. I don't have money.
Oh my God.
Wait, before you guys change the topic, women are not all the same. Not all women want money from men.
Can I say something?
Respect is important for me. If you like, give me 1 million. If you disrespect me,
the first class tickets I won't buy. No be money I want to buy.
I don't want it. If you disrespect me, just eat it. I don't want it. Who told you I'm after?
There's some truth there.
I don't give a damn about your ticket. If you disrespect me, I don't care about you. Don't give me anything. I don't want it. Treat me like piece of shit. I'm gone. I don't want your money.
That's
It's
true.
not about money.
That's
Respect is important. Without respect, there is no foundation of any relationship. It's not money. Thank you.
Hello, do you think the older men that these women get involved in, do you think they actually do respect the women? Because in my mind, I would have thought they would, but I don't know how they actually treat them. I know they buy them things, they get them things, but do they actually respect the women?
I've not been in that situation before because me.
No, I mean, do you know people that are in this situation?
I want to imagine. I've never been.
Wait, are we mates? Am I not older than you? All those money and lavish on you. Tell me now, is it love you have for me or not? That's the question for you. Proclaim your love in the public. I spend a lot of money on you. Is it love? Do you love me or not? All the money I spend for you, buying Gucci and all that. Is it love you love me? Answer the question.
Oh my God!
You see it? You see it?
Can you let her speak, Ovie? Let her speak now. Come on.
Don't mind.
Please go ahead.
I do believe, I'm not in their shoes. I do believe that there are good men out there that has money, and not all of them are evil. I don't know what a woman would want if a man treats you with respect and he's single. Do you know what I mean? And what else do you want? So I do believe amongst those men, some of them may respect those women, and that's why maybe some of them will come back. But some women, it depends on the woman what she's going there for. If she's going for money, she don't care to be like Nketa, something like that, because this thing they call money and poverty, they are friends. And if it's this place, you can afford to eat and feed yourself, and as long as you're strong to work, But back home there, I don't know. I've never been in that situation. I can't answer for them, but I do believe there are good men out there that have the money. But I do hear about these diabolic men that use them.
What about those that don't have money like us, but we are good men? We don't get a chance.
You stay on the hanger. Go and stay on the hanger.
Yes.
What is the problem? You don't go near women.
So it's a crime to be good without money. It's a crime to be good without money. Can't I be good without money?
Criteria, it's part of the criteria. See, but then, okay.
All these young women.
Let me ask Hello now. Let me ask Hello. Hello, about you said, okay, some men
people have
may
to
actually
consult you, bring all your money, I beg.
while others may not. But
you see, she's asking for money already.
In my mind, I'm beginning to think that, okay, is the honesty actually quite important? Is it like a merit of this type of relationships whereby everybody knows where they stand and they're honest about it? Because if you look at marriages, there's a lot of dishonest in often marriages and even normal relationships that people have. But these types, they tend to be more honest. They will say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm not doing, and this is what I'm doing. So do you think that is that a good thing from that point of view that may enable this to even endure?
How can it be good?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking, because you're honest now.
I'm thinking now, fun from a woman destroying the future generations versus building a family unit that preserves our children. Which one is better? I would go for preserving our family unit, whatever rubbish, because I do believe a woman, there should be integrity, respect, respect yourself. Not that you're not gonna, do it if you want with someone who is your partner, be stable, and then you settle down and stuff like that. You don't have to share everywhere, especially now there is a HIV everywhere and stuff like that. But first of all, our family unit, preserving it is very important, and I advise every young lady out there to be much more thoughtful who they open their legs. Money is not everything. When you get that money and stuff like that, you don't know what comes with it. One day might be for the tea. You might be go one day, you get lucky. Next time you may not be lucky, either with your life or with disease. So respect is very, very important. Respect yourself. Even sometimes when you find yourself in hardship, your man don't have, you can stay and build. I know some women have complained that they have suffered for men, stayed and built, but then as soon as the man stood up, he spat on them. And I don't blame them, you know. And when they get out of that marriage, that's those kind of women. Yeah, you can see forefathers because they've had experience, and they will say, as I said to you, women have one mind. Once a woman has turned and said never again, before they can change it, it's really hard. Women are not weak, and that woman will say, over my dead body for love again. I'm gonna do whatever. It's to destroy homes, whatever. They don't care and stuff like that. But it's not good for us. Thank you.
Is that why you will not forgive me, my love?
I really appreciate that. Let me appreciate the point that she made, because I think that point is very important. The way she put it, you know, you have to have a family. You have to respect your partner in the relationship. You know what? One thing I always wondered is when you are with a partner and you build that partner up, and the partner decides to leave you, it does not mean, because just because you build them up doesn't mean they should stay with you. In my mind, I don't see that as, I don't know how to describe it. I don't see it as, let's say if I did that for a woman, like she owes me. Because to me, the good has already been done. If she's built up, yeah, maybe some other person will gain from it. I would prefer to gain from it. But you build that person up, it is what it is. And maybe the idea is that when you're building people, don't assume they are necessarily going to be there forever for you. What if they decide to leave? Or what if they decide to stay because you treat them like that? Like you said, you need to treat them with respect. I need to treat them like human beings. So maybe the idea of trying to own them because you invested so much in them is what drives them away in the first place. So I mean, it's just one of those things you think about. In my mind, I don't think it should do that.
Don't forget, it's a man's world in Africa. If it's here, it's different that women are acquiring wealth. Back home there, normally there are roles that women fit into, isn't it? Which may not expose them to that wealth that would train a man to the universities. Normally the man that would now trade a woman and say, oh, you disappointed me and stuff like that. I meant not giving a man money, no. Being there. If you know what I mean, I say, well, there are many things they say beside a most successful man, there is a woman, one way or another. You understand? So it's not that, okay, once things are good, the woman is there, washes the clothes, prepare food, because you're going to get money, come back home, you need to eat, you need chores doing and stuff like that. She's being a woman doing what she's supposed to do. Then you didn't have much, yeah? And then along the line, or maybe you guys married, young married couples, not that when you become rich, the woman owes you her life, that the love must continue, but you have to be honest. But what I found out in some of our men is that with no reason, just turned. They just turn, next day you will see them in the midst of two women in your matrimonial bed, and they will, deny you in front of those. Respect. It happens, forefathers. It happens. It's like throwing shit on the woman. So how do you expect that woman to respect
that
your
is
man?
horrible. I don't understand how a human being can treat another human being like that, though. I really don't. Where you bring the that's crazy. That's
things
crazy.
happen, because it's a man's world in Africa. Remember, I always talk about abuse of women because I've had and I've seen that women go through a lot in Africa, and that's why some of them are mentally tortured to do things they don't want to do. It's a man's world. The power men possess in Africa, not here. I'm not saying I don't believe in this. When I talk about defending women, I'm not a feminist in that way. I am basically saying treat a woman like you want someone else to treat your daughter. What you don't want someone to do to your daughter, don't do it to any woman. Because when the camera is not focused on a man in his secret place, that's when you will know who a man is, not outside. Most of them, when they come out, they look very innocent. They can preach all the gospels, but at home they are women bitter. But that woman had been there with you. I know there are bad women. Some of them maybe talk too much, maybe sometimes they don't want the woman when they are talking to answer back. You know our culture now. They take it to the next level. And this woman will be battered, and the woman will not tell the family members that the husband has been beating her until when she dies. Like that woman that the man kicked on her stomach. When I was in primary school back home, there's a woman from my village that married a particular man. She was my teacher, a very pretty lady, very, very pretty. She went to Lagos. It wasn't long. They brought her body back, her dead body back home. What happened? She was pregnant. I don't know whatever that woman may have done. The husband kicked her on her tummy, heavily pregnant woman, and she passed on. And her village people came around our village to fight, if you know what I mean. So things happen.
Imagine.
I'm not encouraging women to behave in such a way, but I'm saying the honors, the women in Africa, in Nigeria, the women are the ones that suffer things most, the repercussions, because they don't speak out. Things happen. And when something is closed, when a woman feels horrible and no one is listening, the things they can do.
So let me ask though, because I don't want to make this, about whether men and women versus women, but I wanted to ask about, do you know of how, because I wonder how our women raise their male children, whether they consciously, and this term that they use, intentionally impact on those male sons to treat their women with respect. Is that something that they do? Because I don't remember the people that I've surrounded actually do that consciously.
They do that. Like where I come from, we're very cultural and traditional. We have a way of life that growing up, you can't be seen with a man. You can't be seen with a man. I remember one instance, Nan had to slap a classmate, the classmate just saying hello to me. That's to tell you how women were protected. Don't mean that is right here, but it was a woman is being prepared to serve a man, depending on the culture. In my culture, the woman is brought out. The woman is trained to be a good wife, but the men are trained to be good husbands as well. My
that's
dad,
interesting.
yes, like my dad. Sometimes when like the little ones I see around that are men, links I have around me, I educate them, because don't forget that young boys imitate their fathers. Fathers are always role models for their sons, always. So you need to educate those boys. You treat women with respect, and you can tell from homes that a man that respect the wife and does his job well, and the wife respects him, vice versa, the boys copy to be like that. That's why sometimes when you see broken homes, children, that the father figure is not there, they are not learning the qualities and characteristics of how to be a man. They learn from both sides, but men think it's only women that should instill or teach men how to be good husbands. But then some part of it, those roles are played by men. Like I believe, I don't believe that you can I don't believe in turning a man into a woman, but I do believe, like in my household, all the chores that women did, the men did as well, like washing plates, cooking. Our men
but from your answers, they prepare them to treat their wives well and everything. But did they specifically instruct them, hey, never lay your hands on your wife, because your job is the opposite, to protect?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like the little one I know I have around me tells me, if a woman gets angry, he just politely walk away, because he don't do interchanging. You just remove yourself from that. You teach them psychology and stuff like that, how women think, what a woman is, the positives and negatives of women, when a woman is low, how to fit into that puzzle so that your relationship will be healthy. Not that the woman will be physical to you or abusive or disrespectful, if you know what I mean, but how to handle situations so that they are trained. Women do that all the times.
And that's very good because I've not seen it done explicitly that way. Because all I saw when we were growing up was, oh, you go out with a woman, there's a certain, basically they copy each other. People copy other men. They see the other men treating women with respect. They do the same thing. Whether they treat them badly, they do the same thing. It's not explicitly defined. I say, hey, this is how your primary duty. This is what it's supposed to be first. Then everything else fulfills on top of that. Nobody clearly stated that clearly to our men, especially the aspect of using violence and kind of bullying tactics. Those type of things, nobody warned the men to do it. And even if they did, I'm sure some of the men that are misbehaving will still misbehave.
My grandfather always told my father, never you ever. Even my granddad always told my dad, never you ever lay your hand on a woman. Never.
Wow.
Never you ever. Never you ever. It's like a no. He dare not.
And he followed it
from letter A to letter Z. Yes. Because women,
yes,
you have to be a man. Remove yourself.
How far are we going to be regular dictating on this? We do respect.
Hey, hello, man of prestige, man of prestige. This is important. Maybe I'm learning. I'm learning. You see, she's answering my question. I'm learning. I'm asking. Yes, now you see, she knows what she's sharing is important. And I hope the viewers. I hope the viewers are enriched.
Hold on, Father. Are you married? Do you have a wife?
What is your problem? I'm trying to learn here. What if I'm also? I'm trying to learn.
What is it you have to learn about? I'm just saying. I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it. It's a good topic. But we've been talking about it since 4 o'clock, right? Is that 4 o'clock or so?
We talk about different aspects of it. I think this is the closing aspect.
We've been talking about it. We have not even moved on to some of the topics that we are going to. We are going to move. You can do whatever you want.
I finished the questions. I think I wanted to understand because this area, if she hadn't come in today, I wouldn't have another woman to ask about. Okay, how do they raise their children? Do they teach them these sort of things? Clearly, they do. In some cultures, they actually make a lot of effort to do those things. And from what she said, her own parent followed it to the letter. So, and it shows you the impact if parents consciously teach their children these things. And I can tell you that I wasn't taught that deliberately. So you see what I mean? These things are important. That's why these conversations are important. Because if you look at it scaled up, it affects almost every family in Nigeria. It's very, very important. It may be even more important than Fayoshe and Jakaman and their drama nonsense. So thank you for that. Hello, I really appreciate it. And you are one of the bravest women to come in here and show some of these our people how to do things. All right, so let's move on to our South African brothers and sisters. These days, I don't know what I will call them brothers and sisters because they are not exactly very fond of us. And every time they try to insult Nigerians as much as they can. I don't know what we did to them, and it's turned into some kind of silly game where they just keep insulting Nigerians left and right. So let me see if I can find something to share, because the South African leader today, I think it was yesterday actually, he said something about Nigerians should not threaten their company. Let me just see if I can play some of these videos where they were. This guy was cussing a little bit, so excuse me for it, and it was even a little bit rude actually. So, but we'll watch it.
Let's just take the words of South Africans saying Nigeria and Ghana are so irrelevant. So why does the conversation immediately becomes what happened if South African companies loses access to their markets? It's amazing how quickly they don't matter turns into please don't buy from us for tech. Funny how some people only discover the value of a customer the exact moment that customer starts walking away. You guys spent years acting like people were disposable. Now suddenly you're calculating how much they spend. That is not confidence, that is panic, wearing expensive clothes. You can't spend years telling people they contribute nothing to your economy. And here you are talking about economy partnership the minute you realize that your profits might take a hit. And here's the fact, Nigeria remains one of Africa's largest consumer markets, with millions of customers, businesses, investors, and entrepreneurs. Whether it makes some people comfortable or not, it doesn't really change reality. If truly the market doesn't really matter, nobody will be issuing warnings about what happens if businesses loses access to it. People don't threaten to lose something they believe has no value. The math simply isn't mathing. What's even more entertaining is the contradiction. 1 minute, we don't need Nigeria and Ghana. The next minute, if Nigeria and Ghana remove our businesses, they will regret it. If you don't need Nigeria and Ghana, why are you worried about their decisions? You did your protest, you were not being questioned for it, so why are you worried about their decisions? Why does every conversation circle back to protecting assets to Nigeria and Ghana consumers? You can't call a market useless while fighting to keep your place inside it. Pick a script or stick to it, motherfuckers. Because acting unbothered while giving lengthy speeches about consequences, it's like you're saying, oh, I'm over my ex, but yet you're still refreshing their Instagram page every 5 seconds. You don't spend years telling people we don't need you. Then suddenly you're expecting applause because you've just discovered the importance of African unity. Get your shit together, motherfuckers. Where was all this unity when people were being told they didn't belong? And somehow it's funny how Nigeria is being painted as the villain just because they reacted. So let me get this straight. You dismiss people, you tell them they're not needed, you benefit from their markets. Then when they start questioning that relationship, and suddenly they're the bad guys, make it make sense. That is just like setting your own house on fire and then you're blaming the smoke. I've been going to South Africa for years now. Accountability is not something that is common there. That's why a lot of them look like avocado. Dear South Africans, please just get your shit together. Have a nice day, motherfuckers.
To run the economy the way they want to run it. Just like every other country, Ghana has the right to run the economy the way they want to, they deem it fit. Nigeria has the same thing as they deem it fit. No, you can't tell them they've been winning. Their strategy has been winning. Let me tell you, in Ghana, in less than 2 years, they've been able to bring their inflation from 23% to 3.3%. My brother, listen to me. That's unprecedented. They have also been able to robustly build their GDP from 80 billion to 118 billion. Check me with my informations. Nigeria has become #1 stock exchange market in the world with regards to gains. Nigerian stock exchange overtaking South Korea. I'm not talking about voodoo economy. Fact check my informations. You know what I'm saying? The Nigerian foreign exchange, go very reserved. Go and check. It has grown by unprecedented measure.
The diplomatic tension between Nigeria and South Africa has been growing.
And Nigerians are not happy about how they have treated us. They are not asking other migrants to leave. They're only asking black migrants to leave.
It all started with a controversial comment from South African government officials.
So they can show us where they've been holding the drugs so that we can clean the drugs in South Africa quite urgently. And we are going to seriously appreciate to be told where are the drug dens. Thank you very much.
Nigeria's government demanded answers and South African ministers refused to apologize.
Minister Nchabeni never said all Nigerians are drug dealers in the statement. Never. So it can be that the insinuation is that she said Nigerians are drug dealers. She didn't say that. And I don't think a demand from an apology from her, it's warranted, nor is it appropriate.
But then something happened that has captured attention across Africa. And that is because a bold Nigerian journalist in the midst of South Africans stood up inside a government press briefing and directly challenged 2 South African ministers.
Given the sensitivity of the time right now, do you think the statement you made is helpful to your country, to your president, to the work that your colleagues have been doing in the
That is the South African, the journalist questioning the South African minister. And then all the South African minister has to resort to is that they didn't call all Nigerians drug dealers, and that she should respect their ministerial positions. How do you mean? Okay, can somebody tell me this? Because when she says the Nigerians should come and show her where the drug dealers then are, is that not calling Nigerian authorities like they are working with the drug dealers? But why are you asking the Nigerian authorities to come and show you where the drug dealers are when they are asking you for compensation? So man of Presi, what do you make of this South African drama? Because they have really disrespected so many African countries.
I saw that comment. I thought that was very disingenuous of that lady. She doesn't even speak like she doesn't even see like I don't know what her position is. If she's one of the commission or whatever in South Africa, you know, it doesn't make any sense from what she said. You know, that is, you know what I think about the South Africa, okay, for that to be realistic. Okay, we need to put in the perspective in terms of overall development, like economy strength and productivity. Yeah, I give it to South Africa. They are better than us, you know, for their infrastructure. But Nigeria, even at all, because of our challenge and everything, we still have the scale of growth, momentum, and demographic division. We are better than them. But for you to come out and make that, you know, alteration there, that was damaging. That lady doesn't even know what she's talking about. They're going to pay for it. I don't see what we are benefiting from South Africa. We are not. They have the whole market in Nigeria. So they actually, if you want to talk about benefit-wise, they are the one benefiting from us. Look, Forefather, I don't have any problem. You saying, you know, the illegal immigrant or anybody should go. There's no problem, but do it through the proper channel. You see, what is the Black South Africa are doing right now? They have replaced apartheid with xenophobia. Apartheid has replaced xenophobia. They are the, you know, they are the most mentally colonized Black nation in the world. Because if you look at them, they have some of the. What was you going to say?
I said definitely.
I mean, if you look at the scale of university, they have at least 5 top best university in, you know, in Africa, more than Nigeria. But if you see a lot of them, the way they behave, you know, they behave like illiterate, particularly their men. Their men don't have anything going for them. The only thing South Africa, in my own point of view, they have beautiful women. I'll give that to them. Okay, in terms of women, they have beautiful women. I mean, they have beautiful land. You know, if you go to Cape Town is like, I'm not in San Diego right now. Cape Town is a duplicate of San Diego. Yeah, you know, both weather, because here, you know, San Diego, with some place doesn't even have air condition. Our temperature doesn't go more than 70 degrees, but it gets cold, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't freeze. So San Diego have what I call a perfect weather. That's exactly, if you go to Cape Town, you know, that's how Cape Town is. But they have everything going for them. Even at all, what they have right now is being developed by the white people. But they are behaving like animals. Look at the leader of the audition. And that one that we are something all over. Did you know what he said? He said the government should give 1 million to each of to each South Africa. You know, they will live forever. Imagine an illiterate making such a comment. So don't work. Their men don't work. If you look at South Africa, you know, all they do is drink and dance. You need to do your research in South Africa. All their men do is drink and dance. They like to party. I'm not saying anything wrong with party, but if you see how they party, if you go to their club, it's not like our club where people dance. All you're gonna see is a bucket of drink everywhere. Bucket of drink. That's all they drink. Their men are not productive. This is the problem they have. I mean, if you look at, okay, what are the percentage of the so-called foreigners? It's only about 4%. When you blame them, I'm not saying the Nigerians, they don't commit crime. Yeah, but arrest them. But you can't blame Nigeria for drug, everything. That's why they keep on pushing away Nigeria drug. That's not true. Yeah, there may be some Nigerian, committing drug, but you are the one buying it from them. It's not only Nigeria, they just want to pick Nigeria because Nigeria is the biggest of all the whole foreigners they have there. I think something wrong with mentally, something wrong. And this is according to what I heard. I don't know whether it's true. The conspiracy theory there is that this is being pushed by the Israelites. The conflict in South Africa, they say, this is being pushed by the Israelites. I don't know how. I don't know what is that, just to destabilize the South Africa, But there's a political angle to this. Both
my concern is that man of prestige.
Yeah.
If Israel was pushing it, then okay, why is the leader of the country reacting the way they are doing? Because if they know Israel is pushing it, then why are they reacting like that? It doesn't seem to add up. What do you make of it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all about politics. Ramaphosa, this is their president. When he come here, he just speak a different language. But at the background, he's with them. He's supporting what's actually going on. If you look at his word, he will just come and speak like, there's no xenophobia, people are not dying, that kind of things. But at the background, this is politically motivated. The question you asked me, what?
Hold on, you say he supports it, and you also know Israel is on the other side.
Yes.
So why is he allowing it to happen, knowing that Israel is going to be looking to take advantage of it as much as possible?
Well, not necessarily Israel just come and say they are supporting it. They are doing it through the politicians. It's all about money.
They're using the politicians.
I don't know how true is it. It might be a conspiracy theory. I don't know, forefather.
It's a very, very tricky one because we know for sure that Israel will be happy to say, look at the fools that decided, look at them now. They are the ones dealing with Africans like this. And what makes South Africa's one so terrible was that this is not the first time. They've been doing it. This is unique to them, actually. They've been doing it repeatedly, and African countries have just been taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it. And I think they've gone too far now that the whole sub-Saharan Africa is united against them to an extent on this one. And I don't know why they haven't taken action. Why is Africa so weak?
I mean, this attitude is already been in South Africa. It's already in their habit. So it's not something new. But this is the peak. They have not gone this far before. They have been doing it for a long, long time. But when you find that the grass is there already, you're gonna push for it. So it might be through unknown, entity they are doing it. I don't know how factual it is, but South Africa, they are xenophobic in nature. Okay, that's what I tell you.
Yeah.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry.
What do you think of the drama with this South African, the way they have been treating Nigeria with such disdain? It's like they don't even pretend anymore. They just treat us with such disdain. They released a list of visa-free countries this week to their country. Nigeria and Ghana is omitted from it. It's like, I don't know, man. What do you make of all this?
Well, this may not be true, but I do see the hands of the Africans as well. There are different facets to this that are toggling for power, both on the dark side, black people's side, the black South Africans who are politicians who want to come to power at all costs, and the Africans who wants the world to see. You see, when there was apartheid, you people, there was apartheid though, but things were not like the way it is now. You were against apartheid, but you are the ones that were against apartheid, but you're doing apartheid in a way now to black people like yourself. It's like letting the world, like sabotage the Ramaphosa's government, using the thugs on the street to do things that are illegal to show that the black ones in South Africa can't govern themselves. Trump is watching, all eyes on South Africa, give a dog a bad name before they attack them. That's why Ramaphosa is weak. His weakness is actually cost him a lot. Instead of him to stand on a point, like even if he loses the election, but save his face and have power and take charge and say, not under my watch, even if I'm not going to win this election, I will not let these people to show that we can't govern ourselves, because there has been instances where some of those Africans were actually confidently coming out to voice out that, you see, you people cannot rule yourselves. You can't govern yourself. Even during apartheid time, it was better, and they want apartheid to come back, even though it hasn't ended. So don't forget, they're looking to form a country of their own. So anything to show that that place, is ungovernable. It's like, if we can't get it, we will scatter it at all costs. And all these ones he's saying Nigerians are not welcomed. Well, I don't know if Nigeria is going to do anything about that. I do believe that the stance a country's government take in the world will reflect. It's a mirror to the world, the way they will see you and the citizens. The Nigerian government should take a stand that shows that they have respect for every single Nigerian out here, even if they call us criminals or whatever. Whenever something happens, make good example of this so that no other nation will try this. Otherwise, you are weak. If you're seen as weak, they will spit on us everywhere we go. This is a chance now for our government to diplomatically, they don't have to shout, do something. If they're going to nationalize that, do it to benefit the Nigerian citizens. So that, because South Africans didn't start this, now they've done it. Next time they will do it, we don't know what will happen.
It's going to be worse. It might just be worse. I think that this issue will run and run. And my worry is that the South African apartheid regime already have experience being very diabolical. That regime was, when we hear apartheid, we just hear that, all you imagine is them shooting at South Africans that are protesting. But we don't really understand the scope of how evil that regime was. This is a regime that was actually planning to exterminate the black population of South Africa and maybe extend it towards Africa. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Well done. So this is a regime that was looking to exterminate black South Africans. That some of them even, I think I saw a report recently or on a video that was saying they were expecting the black South African population to collapse due to AIDS and all these things that they've introduced. That is why they didn't think that they needed to leave. But somehow that seems to have failed, and the black South Africans are still, there in numbers. And there was a case that also came out. This is a factual one. This is not even this thing, where they were introducing drugs into the black South African neighborhoods to cause division and issues amongst them. That when the apartheid regime ended, this didn't end. It just got privatized. So they started using the Nigerian Nigerians as a kind of what they call them, logistics people to transport the drugs over all the way from different parts of the world. So that is how Nigerians got into the middle of this issue of drug trafficking in South Africa, and it's been very devastating to the South African population, which is where this issue really stems from, where they said 400,000 South Africans take heroin every day. That is crazy stuff. That number is crazy, and whoever is supplying those drugs is evil. And all those Nigerians that are participating in this, they are evil. But the South African authorities are not innocent either, because they are enabling these things to happen. They are all part of it. The entire thing is a mess. And I thought Nigeria was a mess, but when you look at South African society, I think it is said to be the most unequal society in the world. There is something seriously wrong with that country. Something not right about the country. They talk about a rainbow nation that is not a rainbow nation. They talk about a human rights inferior nation that is not. They talk about people that like to uphold the law, where they have some of the worst criminal activities going on in that country. Do you know Nigeria, which is Boko Haram, South Africa still has a higher death rate for criminal activity than Nigeria? Even if you include Boko Haram and bandits and everything, Nigeria, South Africa still have a higher death rate. This is the country we are talking about here. And it's if not because they were technologically developed and industrially developed more than other African countries, I don't think anybody will look back at South Africa once. The only reason why is because they have all those this is development. Everything, almost every other matrix is horrible. And now they are insulting Nigeria left and right. And it's not only them. South Africa, Ghanaians are insulting Nigerians. I don't know where Nigerians are going to have enough shame and get their act together. I don't know when we are going to have enough shame to get our act together. We have all it takes to make all these people eat their words. But we allow them to insult us as if it's like they shouldn't even be able to look at us twice. If let's say Tinubu listen to my own advice, these people, when they think about Nigeria, they will be shaking in their boots. All these kindergarten countries that don't know what they are doing. If Nigeria gets its act together, they shouldn't be able to talk to us. But it's okay. This is what happens now. And they forget that in the 70s, we are the ones helping them. They think like history is not going to spin around again. History is going to spin around, and their time, Nigeria will recover. And Nigeria is recovering. I wouldn't say we are recovering in the bigger sense of, pre-colonial period, but I'm saying we are recovering in the sense that the economy is going to get stronger because of the two major refineries that are going to come on stream. Dangote refinery is already there. Boa refinery is coming on stream, and the Nigerian government is looking to sell their own refinery. If they do, Nigeria will be gushing out petroleum products into the world. This is value-added manufacturing we are talking about here. The Nigerian economy will start getting stronger and all the industrialization gears will start being in place. The question is whether this our government will not do what they do best, kneecap the country again. And I hope they don't kneecap it. Because if they don't, Nigeria is going to get stronger. I think the one we don't have much of a choice other than a civil war that can stop it is that the Nigerian currency is going to get stronger. The Nigerian economy is going to get stronger in the next 2 to 3 years. And this is one of the things people should worry about, because if you are thinking of removing Tinubu and while the economy is getting better, forget it. It's not going to happen. And it's not because he's the one that did it. That's the weirdest thing about it. It's not him. It's Bua Refinery and Dangote Refinery that is doing it. Dangote Refinery is going to be outputting 1.4 million barrels a day. Bua Refinery is going to come and join it. That is crazy amount of value-added manufacturing that is going on there. And then not to mention all the other small refineries that are showing up in Nigeria everywhere. So it's going to be, and Dangote is expanding all over Africa. If all this is come to fruition in the next couple of years, Nigeria is going to easily be the most powerful country in Africa. Easily. Already they are quite powerful. No, this thing that South Africans are doing today, in 2 to 3 years' time, is going to sound as if it's a dream.
Well,
and that is the weirdest. Go ahead.
Let me support you in both in your frustration that I can hear very clearly, and in your understanding economically of a country like Nigeria with the people that Nigeria has. I agree with you in a great circumstance in terms of Nigeria's economic value. If it can wake up as the big man himself in in Dangote, showing us what it is to have and own a system that allows processing of manufactured goods to become able and necessary. When you look at Nigeria's economy, if it was to bring on steel, which I think is very important, if it was to bring on a currency that took over the West African and Francophone countries, if it was to bring on certain levels of entrepreneurship that already exists, but gives it a climate that it can flourish in. These are aspects that I always see where Nigeria is concerned, and I always look at. Not that Nigeria itself would have a global appeal in those Nigerians that are abroad, but it would have a global appeal from the state of Nigeria itself. This is what we who are on the ground realize about Nigeria. Unfortunately, that question does maintain itself, the level of kneecapping, the level of cutting your nose off to spite your face, the level of awkwardness that our politicians play. That's what's bamboozling to me. Nigeria is getting a bad name, not just from internationals, but from its neighbors, its own African people. And I don't like hearing it, because a lot of times, just like you, I feel they're being uttered by people from countries that aren't doing anything, that have been basically oppressed, basically downtrodden, and accepting that position. I don't like, but the fact is, again, is where you are correct, is Nigeria has no shame. So it's entering in all these ways, all these areas that would allow Nigerians themselves to be slapped in the face at will from non-entity countries and people of such. Man, I'm as perplexed as you are. And I don't know, sometimes I feel strongly that I can run the country called Nigeria and I can bring a lot out of it. But I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I'm a businessman and I want to be able to add my bit in that way. However, it seems to me right now that every Nigerian has to be a politician. Every Nigerian has to be self-aware enough to say no more. No more of these lies. No more of this rubbish and rhetoric. We have to, I can't help but to come back to that position that we as a people have to take the power back. Anytime I listen to people and what they say, when they've been very frank and honest and open and clear-minded, it seems to me that it smacks back to the point I have of not having any elections next year. It'll be us entertaining another 4 years wasting our time. I don't know what would happen if they do have an election next year. I don't know if Peter Obi would win, and I don't know if Peter Obi's administration would be any better than this one right now. Over the last 4 years, the defense or the opposition that he has put up, I have not been satisfied with it. I may be saying that from a totally ignorant point of view, that the machinations that Nigeria takes means that you have to go this long way around just being able to be around, now in order to conduct it. But still, I don't even reckon on any opposition at all. And because of that, I feel that Tinubu would win. And Tinubu will winning again, for me, is another. I really believe that we wasted 8 years with Buhari. Wasted. Complete years.
I'm not sure though. I'm not sure because
you might
everything
pick up
I
one or
see.
two things. You might pick up one or two things. I don't know.
But they are vital though. They are vital things. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Every single thing that is working the best. When I say the best, in terms of it's not like what Tinubu is doing now may not yield very great results. But I think the most decisive things that are transforming Nigeria today, and that's the reason why I'm saying Nigerian economy is going to improve. The foundations were laid under Buhari, from Dangote refinery, Boa refinery, even the subsidy removal. All those things were the things that he laid down. And he built a lot of infrastructure too, from train lines to all that kind of things. He didn't do anything about security, and he didn't do anything about foreign exchange the way he was supposed to handle it in terms of the round tripping and everything. But he did these things that are critical to Tinubu's government.
Again, I look at it in the same way. Sometimes the Tinubu, who I really dislike, a lot of the things that he seems to have done, or at least under his own administration, there seems to be certain things happening, especially when it comes to the subsidy matter, and where the Naira is today and what that could give Nigerians. However, having said all these things, there's still, for me, people who have wasted a lot of time. And I always feel that we as Nigerians, we don't have time to waste. I've got a quite clear position on things for myself in terms of how I've been thinking about Nigeria for the past 25 years. And those 25 years has told me certain things. And those certain things keep happening, both in the positive and in the negative. Sometimes the things that I've thought about years ago are currently coming to fruition or to transition. And then there are those things I think negatively of. And again, those things are very apparent. And I need Nigeria to be, as I keep saying, a haven. It has to be the lead in creating the haven for Africans worldwide and for humanity as an example. And we seem to be falling away from that. Growing up forefathers, I used to see Nigerian inclusion in the Olympics, in football here and there, in certain sports arenas. And they used to do pretty well, but they wouldn't always. And I remember just looking forward to the day because I knew it would come, that we'll become champions of the world. And it hasn't come. And I always know why it hasn't come is the way we are really disgracing ourselves across the world in terms of the things that are quite common sensual to do and to achieve hasn't been done, hasn't been achieved. And it's like, how do you expect to build upon nothing, upon rubble? You can't build on the level that Nigeria is on, especially politically. It won't build itself. We have to do it. So I don't know, forefathers. I don't know. I believe that we have to take power back in our hands.
Do you think people will care about politics when they find that the Naira is going further than it used to go 2 to 3 years ago, and they find that
I believe what you
investment is
say.
into the country?
I believe in what you say, that it's going to go through peaks and troughs where the economy is concerned, because the politicians are not aware of what they're doing to really make sure that Nigeria is on a 10, 15, 20-year growth pattern, growth cycle. And that's the kind of vision that we need, at least. None of them have that vision, even just 20 years, for God's sake, let alone 100 years that most countries will be trying their best to work on. You know, in terms of think tanks are going to be working on 50 to 20-year analysis, 50 to 100-year analysis. And that analysis is going to be checked on year by year, so they know that they're on target for whatever. But we are not working like that. And those who can and do work like that, who are African, we're not really calling them to the table. So, you know, unfortunately, Nigeria is being run like pirates in the 1400s. How pirates used to behave. Yeah, on the high sea, where they will make one area of the world their haven. Meanwhile, they're going out all around the world, taxing and robbing people on the high sea, and then looking for their secret balances as to where to hide their loot. We're not behaving like a nation. We're not behaving like people that
So,
understand
but
that.
Jago, the earlier question I asked is, would politics even matter anymore? Because I'm beginning to have a kind of, I don't know whether it's an insight or revelation or an epiphany. I don't know what it is. The point is that I'm beginning to have a realization that the way the economy works the way we think economy works may need to be rejigged a little bit, because if these private entities like Dangote can influence the country's trajectory so heavily, and now he's going to implement it further in the near future, then you have Boa. He said it himself that the biggest threat he faces is Nigeria. Nigerians and Nigerian government. They are the biggest threat to his company and to Nigeria itself. So if none of those things happen, does that should politics even matter anymore? Should we even care about
Well,
politics anymore?
again, what you're
If
asking a
these
question.
guys can make the country prosper.
I understand what you're asking, but you're asking a question of Nigeria like it's separate from the world. You know, the politicians around the world are the most corrupt, I believe, than they've ever been. They've always been corrupt in one way or the other, but they're more corrupt now than ever, I believe. And Nigeria being what it is, we are always going to follow the leader, and the leader now is politics. And I can't see politicians themselves ruling themselves out. You know, there's always going to have to be some kind of leadership. Now, whether or not that comes from Nigerians or it comes from abroad, it's going to happen. What we have to know, this is what I'm saying, we have to take the power back. Otherwise, we are entering further and further into a state of myopic discernment, which is no discernment at all.
It's okay. Now let me, because the question still stands, because I'm beginning to wonder now, because if you look at America, Singapore, maybe even Japan and all these other countries, the governments are relatively weak compared to their conglomerates and corporations and those international corporations. Maybe we have to start looking at things slightly differently in the context of Nigeria. Nigeria is beginning to shape itself like such type of economies, because Nigeria, we seem to have been stuck in socialist versus capitalist system, but now it looks like we are going full on, because with the way Dangote refinery come on stream, and then there's also Ajakuta Steel. Actually, the Nigerian government signed an agreement to supply Ajakuta Steel to gas for 20 years, and the Chinese people, they said some Chinese people are looking to do some work on it. So that one is silent. It's silent. I don't know why it's silent. Maybe they don't intend to make anything out of it. But this is private people doing this one now, and they are looking to sell the Nigerian refinery. So all these things, if all this is start happening and all these big billionaires start showing up, like people like Dangote start having 4, 5 of them, 10 of them, politicians will not have that much power over them, and they will, because Dangote said that. Oh, so hold on now. Which one is further? Because Dangote said that the Nigerian politicians and Nigeria is his biggest threat, if this type of people like Dangote become bigger, they are going to ensure the Nigerian state is stable. Then the question is, should we even worry too much about politics if this track is advancing further? Should we care too much about what the politicians do? Because that track will keep the politicians in check. Just like in most Western countries, the corporations keep the politicians in check.
Well, we are not China. I think China and Russia.
Not China, not China. I'm talking about Western.
As much as whatever we think about China, there's no corporation that's going to be bigger than the Chinese government. None. And all the Chinese people understand that. Whereas the rest of the world, I believe that it is easy for companies that have been built up over 100, 200 years purposely to become far richer than any government. It is that power that is being wielded right now across the globe. And what we have to understand again about capitalism and such, it started with companies. The Dutch were the first to formulate a company and a stock exchange, quickly followed by the British. These companies were established by individuals, pirates indeed, who went to nations abroad, Indonesia in the sense of the Portuguese, in the sense of the Dutch as well, India in the English. They stole trillions because that was where the economy of the world was, in the East. They stole trillions from these countries, these people, and brought it to Europe and formulated a capitalist world. In that understanding, even though kings and queens were there first, they didn't enrich themselves as much as these individuals enriched these nations. So I think it's important to understand where the financing for capitalism originated and how it originated. It's only the Chinese with their sense of control that have been able to make sure that capitalism doesn't take over from their heritage, culture, and politics. It hasn't taken over. I hope you heard what I said.
I'm here. It's like it's only two of you on the. Even I know Jago does not want me to speak.
Leave him, Jare. Leave him.
I need to force myself in. So wait. Father, I have a question for you. I was listening to you guys discussing about men and women married. The way you carry this matter on your head for older men and younger women, how far are you trying to get a young girl married? Or I should mind my business.
Mind your business.
Okay.
You understand? That's the Remy will let me rest when I brought that topic up. Because I went to Nigeria, I saw things.
Happy New Year.
So,
yeah, I know. You know the only things you see. These are normal things in Nigeria now. What are you talking about?
I want to make sense of it. I'm trying to make sense
of it.
Let
me tell you, in Nigeria, as long as a marriage, even dating, is poverty alleviation program for them, for most of the women. This is the honest truth. I heard the similar was trying to. This is the truth. If you are 70 years, you want to marry 20 years in Nigeria, you have the money, you have cash, they will marry you. They don't have issue with that. The majority of the women. Some will deny it, but this is the reality. Forget about it, man. It's all about the money. It's the money game. Okay. See, Nigerian marriage has become, even relationship has become very transactional. A woman will date you based on, okay, what do you have? So this is what is going on.
But so is it not because it's more honest though? Because historically that's what relationships are about. Women weigh you whether you have resources or not. If you don't, they don't tend to be more interested in you. So is it not like they are more honest about it now?
Yes, sincerely, in America, this is going on. Where you see young girls, they tell you they're looking for a man that is well established, 60, 20-something years. They even make it clear. Oh, make sure you have life insurance. Make sure They are gonna marry you.
Wow.
They marry for the money. They come in America. They come for it. They tell you you will take care of them. You know, they don't have problem marry you. So
Wow.
women generally, sincerely, majority of, even when you hear them deny, just like when you hear women deny polygamy. Oh, I can't do polygamy. 99.9% of women, we do polygamy with the right situation. Argue with your keyboard if you want to argue. But women will come in, they will still argue, they will deny it. But this is the truth. With the right situation, 99.9% of women will marry into polygamy. This is the
There's some
reality.
truth there.
Should I
Talk to leave matter for Matthias. Let Jide go ahead.
I wanted to add to what you said. I think the problem, so this, I think where the problem is with women, with modern women particularly, is it's not, fine. It has always been like that. They always want men with resources, right? But I think it has to do more with the issue that they are not willing to perform their traditional roles anymore. So these modern women, they want those resources. At the same time, they don't want to be submissive. They want to pursue that career. They want to compete with you. At the same time, they want your resources. That is where the problem is.
Are you sure? I thought that was the trade-off in the case of Nigeria.
No, in the case of Nigeria.
That's where feminism comes in. So they're talking about a lot of these modern women. I mean, it depends on the women you talk about too, but if you're talking about educated women, they want those kind of men, just like other women too. But they're not willing to perform that role of a traditional wife, or even those values of traditional wives. They're not willing to submit. They're not willing to respect. They're not willing to. You understand what I'm saying? So they're willing to challenge their husband's position on things, you know. But at the same time, they still want the resources of that man. At the same time, there are careers that will also make them to have enough resources that would even enable them not to need any man. So when you have that, there's a problem.
Yeah, it is great. It is you are kind of right. The other thing, you see, our Africa women, especially in Nigeria, you see, part of the issue, I usually explain this to them. When they come to the West, they want the benefit of a Western woman. The only one they don't want to be financially committed. So, for example, when it comes to finance, they tell you, are you not the man? For example, a white woman, for example, majority of them, they live a life what we really call the real partnership, where the resources of the family belongs to the family. Any money coming into the house belongs to the family. Our women, majority of them they don't hold that position. They still believe you are the man. You should do everything. Some of them, they support in some ways. But when it comes to other issue of equality of a Western man and Western woman ideology, they want to uphold that. You know, when it comes to, they don't have issue with that. So it become like it's a clash of cultural clash that usually happen in the West. That's why you see in Nigeria home, Africa home, there are a lot of crises going on. So the thing is, you can't pick and choose. It's either you uphold your African culture, or when you come to the West, look at how the system work and work in that direction. So that will reduce the crisis we are having, because what is going on now, we pick and choose. We pick from Africa culture.
But is it a crisis? Is it a crisis? Because I
is a
always
crisis.
argue that there is some truth. Hold on though, but is it not like there is a honest relationship whereby they know what they want from the relationship, both sides know? Because sometimes the normal standard relationship you get in the West is, oh, I'm in love, I'm this and that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Then within 2 years they will fight and fight and fight. 4 years they spend 4 years going through a divorce, or all kinds of nonsense happens. But
Let me
when
say
you
this.
there's a bit of honesty there that I feel like may enable it to be more stable. But because in relationship, what tends to cause most of the problem is the betrayal, the lies.
No,
it's not when there is honesty, generally it tends to be okay. Let me see. I need to get you back on.
Let me just say this.
Just hold on. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Um, I want to say a couple of things based on what has been said. I think in this your generation or the generation below, may have a serious problem where women are concerned. You know, for the homes that you describe in the West as far as Nigerian or African homes is not what I grew up in. Neither is it my experience necessarily with my generation. Because I've played around an awful lot, I have gone below my generation to see what's going on down there. And in my experimentation, I'll put it that way, I would see that the art of communication is still number one in drawing women closer to your side. And the art of communication, you gather that through telling lies to an extent when you're young and naive, and growing to a position where you don't have to tell lies. You don't tell lies, but you still have your power of communication. You know how to speak to a woman. You know how to draw a woman close. Now, that is the artistic part. It is not easy, I think, for certain people as individuals or certain generations, because women are getting stronger and stronger. And in their strength, they're not changing as women. They're still women, but they're getting stronger and stronger in some of their economic practices and economic fortunes. And that is still practiced to the large extent through men. Now, given this phenomena, we have to understand that it's economics. You know, to get a woman is one thing, to keep her is another. To have a loving relationship throughout life is another. These are things that are day-to-day sprints, if you like, yet it's not a sprint, it's a serious level of marathon. It's a long stretch to be with a woman for over 25 years and such. I think it's incumbent for men, again, to arrest their own individual positions and understand that to have a family, you have to bring in a woman from a man's point of view. Bringing in a woman, I don't think is headache marriage that you want. So therefore, you are going to have to try your best to appropriate the correct woman, one. Two, you know that this is maintenance all the way. Keeping a car is one thing in terms of maintaining it. Keeping a woman is a complete new thing, let alone having children from her, let alone growing old with her in today's aspects. So I think men have to regrow their balls. I think a lot of men, unfortunately, are becoming effeminized. Now, whilst I don't argue too much with the fact that both male and female have male and female traits, I think men have been kind of over-exercising their female traits, or indeed misunderstanding their female traits, if you want to argue this kind of thing.
But the area I was going at was about because what I find with relationships that tend to fail badly, especially when it becomes acrimonious, is
It's
the betrayal.
finance. It's finance, brother.
There's
It's not
finance,
betrayal.
but there's betrayal. I think sometimes even when there is finance, let's say the couples are rich, the man is rich, the woman is rich, they all have, or maybe because of the man, the woman has become rich too. But when there is betrayal in the relationship, that's when things can get ugly, and you will
Indeed,
start finding that
but you
there's
know,
bad blood.
most societies in the world have a structure for when trust is broken, and it's called forgiveness. And unless you are acting in this realm, then you stand a quick failure, because there's always going to be issues. But the issues of finance in the world, if you Google forefather, if you Google as you like to do, what is the greatest reason for failed marriages, I bet you it's finance that comes up and not infidelity. I bet you.
No, it's not infidelity. It's not infidelity. It's finance, and I think something about not supporting. So things like that. That's
There
one
you
of
go.
the top ones. But that said, this type of relationship, are you saying that this type of relationship that are beginning to develop in Nigeria right now are the ideal ones, since it's based on finance and a level of transparency?
No, it's not. They're not ideal. It's
You backed off, eh?
No, you
Go
see,
ahead.
where Nigeria is concerned, unfortunately, it is a rather archaic society. And what I mean by that is there are areas where people would behave traditionally. There are areas where people would be looking at a kind of forward-thinking, futuristic style of relationship. There are areas where even all these kind of schisms of homosexuality and all these levels of different aspects they're creeping in to the society, and all these levels aren't really what I'm looking at. You see, we have to understand again there is something called love, and this is I'm speaking beyond myself. I'm not saying I even behave or conduct myself like this. There is something called love, and it's a deep thing. A lot of people don't talk about it, even from their religious aspect, be they Christian or Muslim. I hardly hear when I put the question of love to Muslims, sometimes it's as though they don't even know what I'm talking about. Or they'll tell me that at times they'll say we don't love in this way, or the whole vocation of love is not the aspect of law, the way we see. And whilst I kind of understand what they're saying, I'm thinking you don't really understand that the word love is law. It's a law whereby you are treating your fellow human being with the deepest level of respect, love, because you know, as a human being, that God Himself is in that other person. Now, when you're behaving badly to any human being that you come across, you are denying sometimes that he has God in him, with whichever variation you may take. And I believe that unless we are entertaining this real opening of light in the darkness that we call Nigeria, it is going to be between fundamentally men and women and what men and women do. You know, the family, I always have to remind people of this, is the only institution on this planet Earth that God actually put. He didn't put a mosque there. A mosque wasn't any institution that God laid. The church that they said that God laid wasn't a building. It was human beings that He was talking about. Human beings, not a building. So unless we're functioning in this light, there is no light. Is what I put to you.
Thank you. Jide, give your submission so that we can close out, because you two of you came late. AY and Jide came late, so that when the
I've not
conversation
given
was
submission. I
really
don't know.
in full swing.
Why do you want to not
Okay.
close it because we are here?
No, not
Yeah, good to see everyone.
no, because I want to
Good to
keep
see
it short
everyone.
today. To be fair, I'm trying to sort out a few things on my end. Yeah, greetings, Jide. Welcome.
So far, that is there are new things going on.
Okay,
Don't care.
so like, yeah, I think I like what Brother Dragon said. I think I really like everything everyone has said. I think everything, honestly, I think what AY said, what Brother Dragon said, I think, and I think it's what you said for Father. And I think, yeah, it's valid. I was just going to add that, yeah, I've been listening. I was just going to add that there's another distinction I want to emphasize about modern women, and talking about if modern relationships are very transactional compared to what it used to be. So what you have is that a lot of these are women, not all, right? It can't be all, but a lot of these are women. They are not willing to go through the process with a man. I'll give an example. So it's like a man, for instance, that just finished from school, that is starting a career, for instance. There's nothing wrong in getting married to that man and building with that man building wealth with that man, building financially with that man. Because one of the things men are attracted to is loyalty. And a lot of men, when they have so much wealth and they say, okay, they want to settle down, there's a lot of skepticism about all these women because it's like, are you dating or marrying me because of my money? But I'm digressing. But the point I'm making is a lot of these are women. They do not want to go through the process with men. They want the men to work out on their own. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. A man should be responsible to build his life, right, and be successful. But what I'm saying is they don't want to go through the process with the man and ensure that, okay, when the man, because when they go through that process together with that man and that man is successful, there is a higher chance for that man to be for that man to be loyal and dedicated to that woman compared to if he's successful and is now trying to find a mate or find that so-called Nigerian lady and now trying to now commit to that lady, because he also has other options too. So there is a lot of dynamics with this. We can also make a case for evolutionary psychology that women are more attracted to men that have resources. Women are epigamous. It has always been like that, which is where I actually flaw feminism, because feminism plays a part in some of this dysfunction. Feminism does not account for the nature of women in evolutionary psychology. And that's one of the big failures of feminism. In as much as feminism wants equal rights of women with men to compete with men and all that, and other rights that they claim women should have, right? They are not also considering the fact that those women, right, even if they are very successful, they still want a man that is higher than them in that context. So I think that is still where the dilemma still remains. The modern ideologies, the modern way of living, it seems to be incompatible with the instinct, the traditional evolutionary instinct of women and that of men. And I think that's why we're having so many issues in Nigeria, because it's not really compatible with some of, like I talked about traditional roles as well. So I think that's why the problem is, because if a woman has a career and a man has a career, it makes sense for them to build together. I don't see any reason why the man has to work so hard to make so much money. But the woman has her own money, but she wants a man that has more resources than her. It just doesn't make any logical sense. But evolutionarily and traditionally, when it comes to relationships, it makes sense. So I think that's my point, but I'll stop there. Thank you. Papa, that is no longer live.
Oh, ti lọ yàgbé ni ẹ. Yep.
What is the Gbenia stuff for? What is the Gbenia stuff for? What are you going on with your Gbenia stuff? All right. Okay. Good one. All right. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you all for coming in today. And this issue, I brought it up like this because of the Umahi, episode and what has happened to this lady, and my findings in Nigeria. Whether it's a good thing, I think I just have to get used to it. It's just the way of life in Nigeria. And and it's been quite interesting discussing it and discussing how South African issues seems to be rubbing off on Nigeria. And I actually like the conversation we had with Jagon regarding the economy of Nigeria, the direction is traveling right now, and what the implications of people like Dangote showing up, the Boas, and who knows who else is going to show up in Nigeria, what the implications are going to be like in Nigeria in the coming years. And it's very interesting because my take is that in the next 2 years, the Nigerian economy should be stronger. The GDP, the Naira should be stronger. Where it is right now, it should appreciate at least 10-15% more for where it is right now, except the government decides to act crazy. They always find a reason to act crazy. History suggests that they find a reason to do something crazy. And let's watch this page. If I said this, these videos are very long, so it's hard to bring the predictions out. But let's watch this space, because history suggests that they always find a way. The Nigerian economy is rearing back up after the damage he did. It's rearing back up again. They'll knock it down again, so that it takes ages for them to rise up again. But we'll see. that is just me being cynical. It may not happen, and if it doesn't happen, my God, for the first time, Nigerians will start breathing in South Africa. Do you know what it's like? Nigeria has not done value-added manufacturing at any scale resembling what Dangote Refinery is doing, and it's about to more than double in the coming years. It's about to more than double. That is crazy stuff. Nigerians will start seeing something they've not seen since the 70s, 80s. That is although the population is bigger now, so it's not necessarily the same, but we are going to start seeing that Nigeria is beginning to emerge as one of that country that used to be relatively influential in Africa. I don't know whether the government is going to buttress it by actually upgrading our security posture. This year they've actually recruited 50,000. This is the first time they've done it for how many, God knows for how many decades they've done this. Where in 1 year the Nigerian government decided to recruit 50,000 police officers. That is new. And I need to check how long they've ever done something like it before. Now the military one is about 20,000, which is higher than they've done before. Before it's 12,000. That is not high enough. It's not even remotely close to solving our problem. But the direction seems to be the right direction that the country is heading. But we'll see. If they do everything and the Nigerian economy improves, lives get better, and they don't fix national security, it's a matter of time. We will be back here again. Thank you, gentlemen. Jide, you didn't have a lot of chance to have a conversation about this issue, and it would have been nice you guys were here when Hello came. Hello, you guys will have a lot to talk about. And Okpegolo, I see you there. Thank you for joining us. AY, thank you for joining us
on
too.
backstage for some time.
No problem. No problem. I can do that. And anybody that is out there, let me name them a bit. Boom Boom Ray, thank you for joining us. I see you in the chat. If I had mentioned Iran, Boom Boom Ray will probably be here. Bala Blue, Bala Blue, I see you there, Bala Blue. He's been here throughout the show, actually. And Ken Riba, I see you there too. Thank you for joining us today. Official Chilled Power. And Obino, I see you there. Equity, Fairness, and Justice, I see you there too. Tico 8, I see you there too. Thank you for joining us today. And none of you, none of these people even contributed to the channel at all. We need the resources to be able to keep the channel flowing. And also, the one that doesn't cost a penny is to like and share. And the like is very, very important. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe, because that too is very, very important. Subscribe to Dr. Damages and subscribe to True Niger. And we need the subscribers to also be able to deliver for you guys. And let me see. I think I didn't name Rover. Oh, Rover Bet is one of the first, actually. Rover Bet is one of the first to join us today. And Dang. I see you there, Dang 8972. See you there. Thank you for joining us. And remember, as always, let me put the link here for subscription. Remember to subscribe to the channel. If you subscribed before, there's no need to do it again. There's always a danger that some people subscribe and they go and try to subscribe again, then they will just unsubscribe. So let's not do that. Let's avoid doing it twice. This is for new people that are not subscribed at all. They can go and subscribe to the channel out there. And remember to like and share and subscribe too. And all right, so I'll play us out now. Then we'll go on to the backstage to just have a brief conversation.
Lonely, lonely, lonely. Money on my mind. Money, money, money. Don't care what they're yarning about me in particular. Stay on the road chasing my dream because I know. Chase it for me. Wanna know like you want my love. Borokoto Ikisha my love. If you want to let you come along, no they find anybody na money I want. No they hear what the people they talk. What they get I shall get it till love. That's a life from no one, no get another one. I go take and do it till I love. Waiting you love. Waiting you love. Waiting I love. Waiting I love. Waiting on my own. No word will be vodka. Mr. Money Ginger. But no, they waste time. Mr. Money Ginger.
Why is that you dance especially for me today? Yeah. Yes.